virtual network are isolated in from each other, right? From each other, they are isolated. And what else we saw that the IP range. We can provide any RFC 1918. What is RFC 1819? It's nothing but RFC 1918 is nothing but a private IPs. So there's another technical name for private IPs, which is we call it RFC 1918, right? What else we saw? We can further have a subnet within our VNet, right? We understood for DNS, we can use Azure provided DNS or we can use custom DNS, right? What else we saw, guys? Right? We deploy a virtual machine scale set. We understood auto scale, manual scale, right? We saw that. Come on, guys. I'm audible. First thing first. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Perfect. So this is the topic we have covered, right? Last week, right? Now let's go further. We start with virtual machine itself, or compute itself, compute topic, and we have took a little bit diverse journey on the virtual network. So we'll go for the virtual network, then we'll go back to our compute and finish rest of our points on the compute. All right. This doesn't. Why this is not taking up? Come on. Right. No issue. I'll go with code. All right. So when we deploy a virtual machine, we saw that, hey, what are the general information? We talk about availability set, availability zone, high availability. Then we went through our virtual machine skill set, right? So this is what we have done. So I believe that everyone is comfortable with this page, right? This page we have walked through in detail, right? We have talked about regions, we talk about availability options, all three availability options. We talk about image, we went through the custom image option, right? We went to the custom image option. We saw that, hey, if you want to have a custom image, how we can make it. We talk about sizing, we talk about authentication method, right? So this is how we connected. Right. Then we talk about a disk, various disks. We have deep dive on a disk. Hey, what are the different types of disks? What delete with virtual machine, data disk, right? And also resizing a disk. This is what we already have done. Right. So any questions on these two pages? Any questions on to these two pages? I'll wait for 30 seconds if you have a question. Otherwise, I'll move ahead. No questions? Perfect. Then we talk about in detail regarding virtual network. What is virtual network, guys? This is a place where you can virtual machine can be deployed. Is it deploying virtual machine in virtual network or it's a NIC card? Right? We understand that hey, how the architecture of Azure, how the things worked in Azure. So we saw that hey, this is virtual machine never get deployed in my virtual network. It's a NIC card who get deployed in my virtual network and part of the subnet, right? So we deploy a NIC card over here. And NIC card is attached to my virtual machine. NIC card is attached to my virtual machine. NIC card is attached to virtual machine. So whatever NIC card will have a IP will have IP on virtual machine. Then what we have done, we tried with setting up manual IPs inside virtual machine and we lost our connection, right? So how does I get fixed? So I was aware that what is IP inside? We keep it 101, right? Something kind of 101. So I went in the NIC card and make it same IP and reboot it. So it got match and then we got our machine back, right? Then we saw that, hey, can we have a multiple NIC cards? Yes, we can have a multiple NIC cards. It could be possible they belong to same subnet, or it could be possible they can belong to different subnet, right? Different subnet. Can we have multiple NIC cards? Yes, we can have a multiple NIC card. It's up to the VM size, virtual machine size. What VM size we are deciding. So based on that, we will we will have a number of NIC cards, right? Now, can we have another VNet? So this is virtual network, right? Let me write it. And this is a subnet. Subnet 1, subnet 2. Can we have another VNet and that will have a subnet? Can we attach a NIC card which is created over here to this virtual machine for now? Can we do that?
No, I think you cannot.
Yes, we cannot, right? So we cannot attach a NIC card from different virtual network if existing virtual network is some network already attached, right? We can attach from the multiple subnets, but cannot attach from the multiple virtual network. Then we have came with the question, hey, what if I want to keep it DMZ scenario, right? DMZ scenario. What is means of DMZ? We saw that, hey, this is a demilitarized zone. Some kind of firewalls, some kind of firewalls required south and east and west, right? Generally, firewalls require two types of networks. One is called DMZ East, then DMZ West, right? This is what we call it, or might some people say that South Pole, North Pole, right? This is multiple name people use that, right? So this is what we have a two NIC cards required. Can we have different IPs? Yes, we can have different IPs. So there is a two ways to get IPs. One what we can do that we will have a one series of IPs. This will be my 10.0.0.0/24. So I'll just keep it one subnet /25, and this will be for the different IPs, different 128/25, right? This will be different IPs. So this NIC card will have a different sets of IPs. Here they have a different sets of IPs, two different subnets, right? And okay, yep. And if you wanted to keep it a different range itself, so what we can do that we can add additional address space. We saw that yesterday, last week, right? What we saw that we can have multiple IP address range in my VNet. Let's assume that this 24 IP slash 24 is get consumed, 256 IP all got consumed. What should we do now? Should we create a new virtual network with a different name? No, not required. If you want to continue with this virtual network, you can have it. You just need to add additional address space, right? We can add additional address space, and it could be possible. You are attaching a new NIC card to this virtual machine. That could be from new address space, right? It could be possible. You can, and this is what we saw yesterday, right? And how to protect those network to get communicate. All right, yeah, this is one of the important thing that if we have virtual machine here, right? I'll say that virtual machine here. If I have virtual machine here in another virtual network and one virtual machine in another virtual network, two different networks, can they communicate each other? No. By default, they are isolated in nature, right? This is what we are pretty much confident on that part. What if we have another machine? Yeah, this is a machine. I'll say that hey, this is will be this machine will be in the same VNet. So can this machine will communicate each other? Can this machine will communicate? Yes. There is no restriction at all to communicate. So how we can protect? So we saw we haven't went through in detail, but we saw just a name terms. We saw that there is called NSG, Network Security Group, which we can apply on the subnet, which can block our communication between the networks or communication for this network, right? So this is how we can do that. We also saw that, hey, what about internet? All machine have a direct internet connectivity. By default, they have internet connectivity, right? So how does they go to internet? They goes to with the shared IPs, which provided by Microsoft. What DNS they use that? They use Microsoft provided DNS, right? And they have internet connectivity. All machine will have internet connectivity. We want to block that. How we can block that? We last time block NSG, outbound traffic. There is one service, we saw that service tag that's called network. We deny that traffic. All virtual machine traffic was stopped going on internet, right? We saw that, hey, we can have a custom DNS, right? So if we want to resolve our own query, we can resolve with our custom DNS. Then we saw that, hey, what about I want to get hop on this different firewall? All the traffic should be get hop to first firewall, then go to internet. Yes, we can do that. For that, we just introduced with a service called UDR, right? So this is all recap, guys. Any questions here? Any questions here? No?
My question over here is this UDR,
Hmm.
this is some kind of routing that you do at the VM level,
Not a VM level, subnet level.
subnet level. Okay. So that feature is available where on the
That's
portal?
yeah. So if you want to see the UDR, we'll have a complete session. We'll do the UDR, but still
Hmm.
UDR. This is a route table
Okay.
UDR, right? You will create one UDR, and after creating UDR, you will attach to your subnet. So let's say that I'll just create it one UDR and give it name demo. You can see that propagate the gateway routes. I say the yes, that's fine. Nothing else, just giving a name and location. And after get deployed, we can attach this UDR to subnet. In this UDR, then we'll mention that, hey, whatever traffic coming from to specific network, and we checked with the destination. I found that, hey, destination is this one. So go to this network, we can make multiple hops.
Samir,
G.
remember we used to have that feature in Windows Server, RRAS, where we used to
RRS.
apply. Yeah. So basically, we used to apply to, after installing the service, we used to apply multiple IPs from different subnet, and we used to make it as a virtual router. So
Right.
still in a VM of a VM created in Azure, we can do that now.
Good question, sir. So thing is that RRAS servers works. RRAS servers works, but Microsoft say that I'll not give you support on that part. Microsoft doesn't give a support. So in case you are running for production, so you will not receive a support on that. And in a few days back, when I was testing for VPN connectivity, it was Microsoft have blocked this RRS, but they have enabled again. So block in the sense that the image which is available on Microsoft gallery, they are not allowing to create RRAS server, but they have enabled again. So it's like the service which Microsoft doesn't want us to get deployed on Azure, but we can do that, but not for production.
Okay. So then we'll have to go for these options. What you're saying?
No, that option is completely different. RRS servers is generally we use for the we can say the remote and routing, but understand that if this is not a physical cable,
Of course.
what the RRS servers, what they do that it create a routes, it's create next hops, right? Now, but in the old scenario, we have a cable. So all the traffic which is coming, this is network, this is network, this is network, this is network. We set as a default gateway on those networks, hey, goes to RRS server. Right? This is what we generally say that. Right? All the traffic we send through the cable to RRS server, right? Might be some devices, switches, whatever we use that, we send a traffic. Now this is a guy who do the IP forwarding and also sending that, who, hey, go to this hop, go to that hop. This is a guy who is deciding, right? The problem here over here in virtual network, in Azure virtual network, by default, all virtual machine goes to internet. By default, all virtual machine have a gateway which goes to internet. We don't have any mechanism to control the flow, right? They want to communicate with each other, they will communicate. They already have communicated. So we there is no physical cable. We say that, hey, all the cable should goes to this RRAS server, right?
So
So we
let's assume there are three subscriptions I have in my tenant, and all the three are in different classes of IP. Okay, it's been
yes.
created like that. So interconnectivity is automatically done. I don't need to go for any routing. Like say one subscription has A class, one has B, and one has C. So the VMs will start communicating with all the subscription VMs will communicate with all by default.
No, first of all virtual network cannot communicate. First of all,
Okay.
all virtual network are isolated, right? This is what we have started discussing from the beginning. All virtual network will be isolated, but there is a mechanism, we call it VNet peering, right? Once you've done VNet peering, they will start communicating regardless of classes, right? Now they can start communicating. We have about multiple virtual machine, right? They can start communicating over here. We want to control the traffic. Hey, you should not communicate directly, but we don't have a cable. So which we can say that, hey, I'm plugging your cable here. So we want to do soft routing. So for that we have a UDR. Right? So UDR is nothing but it says that, hey, if you're going to this traffic, let's say that this traffic, hey, you wanted to go whenever any traffic go out, it goes to the UDR and says that, hey, what is your destination? Hey, I want to go this destination. Okay, hold on. You cannot go directly. This UDR will redirect you and say that goes to firewall first. If you want to go that traffic, go to firewall first. Right? From the firewall will decide whether we need to forward the traffic to this network or we need to drop it. Right? I'll demonstrate to you, sir. Don't worry. This will be of the topic will be if you start doing that. It's a complete networking topic. Let me finish the compute, then we'll go to.
Oh,
Right. But UDR have capacity, which we generally used to do with the RIS servers, but not completely. The one function which we used to do with RIS, we will have it over here. So it's nothing but just setting up routes. Okay. So this is a routes. So we route table. We can attach to a subnet, and when we create so this will be my source. Whatever subnet will get attached. This will be my source. And if you click on new route, so I'll say that, hey, this is my demo path. So I'll say that, hey, my destination will be some IP. Let's assume the traffic is coming from 10 series, and I say that, hey, the IP will be, if you want to go for destination 98, go to next hop, which is virtual appliance. The appliance IP is 10.10.10.10, right? This will be my appliance IP. So all the traffic coming from 10 series, which is subnet, wanted to go for destination this IP range, they have to go with this IP first, right? Or might be there's a multiple options which we're going to discuss that, hey, if you want to go internet, right? So I want to control your traffic. So if you want to go internet, destinations is your some range. So if you come on, so let's say that all the traffic destination is 0.0.0/0. This is my internet traffic. Send directly to internet rather than firewall. Or might be I say that, hey, send it to gateway. Right? I want to send it to virtual appliance, whatever appliance will be. Or I want to send it directly internet. Or I want to just drop the traffic. I can drop the traffic. Right? So there is multiple options. We'll just walk through. We'll go in details when we have a topic of virtual network. Right? So I was talking about this page in compute. This admin password. Right. So this will keep it standard, so we can save a little bit cost. Right. So we want to talk about this virtual network. Hey, this page in the virtual network, you saw that, hey, virtual network can be created any point of time. If you feel that, hey, this region which where I'm deploying right now, East US, I don't have any virtual network and I want to give my specific virtual. This is what suggested by Microsoft. I don't want to go with this network. I want to go 198 network. So I can create a network any point of time. Demo VNet and address range. I just wanted to have it 192.168.0.0/24. right? Same if then we have to define a subnet, subnet 01. Right? Now it will deploy a new virtual network. The question will be there, hey, what about your existing network? So let me check that. Do I have virtual network in my subscription? Let's see. Yes, I do have. I do have a two virtual networks. So why this is not listing me that network? Why it is not listing me? I want to deploy in demo network. Why it's not allowing to deploy it? Why it's not showing me? I want to go for this network range, this IP range. Right? I have a couple of subnet inside, right, which I have created, right? A default subnet. I want to deploy over there. Why it's not allowing me to create a virtual machine? The reason is pretty simple. Where you deploy a virtual machine is to S2. Where this virtual network has been created is to S2. Okay, it should come then. It should show us is to S2. Right? Come on. Then it should show us the demo network. Let's go with the demo world. Now it should create a conflict, then we'll understand. No, it will going to fail that. If it is same region, it should reflect, right? It should be same network, a region, then it should reflect.
Clear
So
your cache, maybe.
yeah, I know that's just little pain from Microsoft. I'll go in incognito. Some API issues there, Microsoft Place. It's not taking up. Right. So I was creating virtual machine in ES2S2. ES2S2. I'll keep it ES2S2. Windows machine and taking up smaller size. Right. And we're expecting that we should see that network, the demo 01. Why this is not coming up? Let me go with other network and we'll come back with this network. Come on. Yes, network itself. It is just API problem which is not fetching the detail.
There is no command or anything that you can run at at PowerShell level to refresh the API calls.
There's no such a command.
Okay.
Generally, that's what people prefer to deploy with infrastructure code. So it whatever will be, it will be in the backend. They will automatically take it up.
Mm.
And this is the recently issues we are facing with the APIs. Earlier, it was not there. Hopefully, now we see that. No. Let me create with same network name. What I'll do that. Just same name. Then it should have a conflict. But now it's saying that already there within your same network and same resource, but it's not showing you where. Come on. See, uh, it's saying that is currently in same resource group. You have a same virtual network. It's representing where. Let's call it. Then no issue. What we'll do that. We can deploy a new network. That's okay, but ideally it should give me my existing virtual network. And what I want to say that, hey, this is virtual network you are able to see right now. Okay, let me see that. Can we deploy new user subscriptions? So I'll go on my subscription where I have created users RG, and I'll keep it in same. Right. So we can see the user VNet, right? This is what I have created. So we can see existing virtual network. That is not reflecting, but so if I go over in virtual network, I can see my existing virtual network. Why I'm seeing this is existing virtual network? Because it's already created for user, right? So there is one virtual machine. I need to give a user. So I have created for him one virtual machine, test 01, right? For this virtual machine, I have created one virtual network, right? One virtual network, right? This is unus-rg-vnet default subnet I have created for him, right? If I don't want to go this range, I can create a new network while creating virtual machine, right? And why this is representing me here? Because my region is same. Where I want to deploy is east to S2. And this is again the virtual machine I'm selecting to deploy is ES2. That's why it's reflecting me that virtual network. If I change my region from east to S2 to east to S2, there is no virtual network. There is no virtual network in east to S2, all in east to S, right? So I won't able to deploy in that given network. I have to create a new virtual network. I have to create a new virtual network. Make sense, guys? So the point which I want to highlight over here that whenever you deploy a virtual machine, the virtual network should be there in same region if you want to deploy over here, right? So let's say that, hey, I want to deploy a virtual machine in West US, but I want to keep it in this network. It won't be possible. The network location and virtual machine location should be same. Make sense? Any questions, guys?
No.
Right. This is a Uniswap network which I have created. Now I'm deploying virtual machine over here. Now going further, we saw that, hey, do you want to have a network NSG? Okay, this one. So if you sometimes, or most of the time, in fact, most of the times when you deploy a virtual machine in production on live environment, you never provide public IP. The public IP is always on your firewall or some other devices, right? So you never provide public IP on your virtual machine. So you should always take none, right? So you will have a private IP. Then private IP is how does going to connect with the private IP. You will going to use your VPN service or might be some other service like a jump server, Citrix servers. Those service you will use that, right? So we'll say that, hey, this is a none, no public IP we required on this machine. What about the NSG, Network Security Group? So we have two options. Whenever you're deploying NSG, whenever you want to secure your virtual machine with NSG, right? You want to secure your virtual machine. This is a virtual machine, right? You want to secure it. You can apply NSG at VM level, virtual machine level, or subnet level, right? If you apply on virtual machine level, it will be effective for this virtual network only. So for this virtual machine only, right? If you apply NSG at subnet level, it will be effective for this machine. Also in future, if you have another machine, it will be effective, right? So I can, let's say that I want to block all RDP protocol. So I say that, hey, 3389 should be denied, right? I deny the 3389. I apply the rule on my this NSG, which is on subnet level, right? It will block 3389 for this machine, right? In future, if I deploy any machines, other machines, that also will be also get blocked, right? For 3389. All right. There is a way we can write a rule for explicitly for this machine. I want to block 3389 for this machine only. I can do that. I want to allow this one. I want to block this one. I can do that. So this is how you, this is depends on how you write a rule on NSG, right? But the point is here is that one NSG will sufficient for blocking, allowing all virtual machine within the virtual network, right? Virtual network. But if you apply NSG on virtual network level or virtual machine level, it will be only applicable for this virtual machine. Yes, any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Now, say when you apply the NSG at the subnet level and you create a rule explicitly denying RDP. Okay. So now,
Specific
yeah,
this machine, all more machine.
all machines within the same subnet.
Okay.
Okay. So now from say VMA and VMB, which is in the same subnet, between them also it will be blocked.
Between them also it will be blocked.
Okay. So now within, if we can we create another rule over there saying, say for instance, if we have a jump server that, and you create a rule saying that explicitly deny RDP access for within the whole subnet, but only allow access from one jump server.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
We can do that. I'll go to that point, but not now.
Okay.
We can do that. We can say that, hey, we can set a priority also. Hey, this is get blocked. This is should not be get blocked. Okay, what kind of a priority we can create it. So it's completely playable area. We can do that.
Okay.
All right. The what I want to say over here. So we can, as of now, he says that, hey, I want you want to create an energy on NIC level. I say that no, I don't want to create a NIC level. I don't want to manage on each virtual machine basis, so don't create it here, right? What if you have NSG? So let's have NSG first. We'll deploy NSG. Okay, we already have NSG. So this is one. So I'll have, rather than NIC level, now this energy I'm attaching at subnet level, right? The units VNet, then default subnet I'm attaching. This is the energy already there. Right, already there. Now what I'll do that I'll just select my different network and come back here. Yep. Now going back again, refreshment might be already done. So I'll go east to west, zone none. Again, this is now this time it automatically selected, hey, energy is none. Why? And it's showing me that, hey, you already have energy attached on your subnet level. Right? This is say that, hey, we recommend you to manage your connectivity at this virtual network via existing one, but you already have on subnet level, so it doesn't require it. But still, you want to have it additional security, you can have it another energy. You can have it. Make sense? So this is energy. If you have attached on subnet level, you will see this kind of a block. Right? This subnet is already have one NSC, which name is this one, test01. All right. Now, do you want to delete your NIC card along with your virtual machine when virtual machine get deleted? Yes. Generally preferred answer is yes, but in some scenario you don't want to delete that NIC card. You want to reserve that IP because might be on this IP you have attached some public IP which has been whitelisted. So you want to maintain that, right? You want to maintain that IP. So you don't want to delete it, right? Some of the network cards are having features called enhanced accelerating
I made one
network.
question here.
G.
You mentioned that this option, if you don't select the delete public IP at NIC when VM is deleted, okay? Say for instance, you have selected this option of not deleting the public IP. You deleted the VM. Now you created a new VM. So, and you want to allow it to take that public IP. Is that possible?
Public IP will after deploying. I think we walk through that public IP, right? How does we apply the public IP? One is that when deploying virtual machine. Did we walk through that on NIC card? NIC card in detail. Did we walk through that? No, right? After this deployment, I'll just this is what this is what next we have to walk through the NIC card, how we can attach public IP, dynamic public IP, static public IP, and I'll just walk through that one. Can we do that or not? Right. All right. Do you want to keep this virtual machine behind load balancer? If you have existing load balancer, you can select your existing load balancer, or you can create a load balancer, or might be application gateway. So it could be possible. While deployment, you want to keep this virtual machine behind your load balancer, right? So whether it could be application load balancer, application gateway, or might be Azure load balancer, which is a TCP UDP load balancer. If you want to keep it, you can keep it while deployment, or might be after deployment you want to add it, you can add it. Both options are fine, right? So this is a load balancer. We can have it and we can attach to while deployment, right? One important thing when generally, okay, I'll just keep it non-public IP, right? Now here is next page we need to talk today, which is say that management. So if you see that, hey, there is a boot diagnostic. What is boot diagnostic? So you cannot see the serial screen. You cannot see the monitor, right? Or you want to see that what is the current state of virtual machine. This virtual machine is running or virtual machine is stopped. You want to see that. You want to manage your virtual machine without providing IP. So you will have your boot diagnostic. Right? What is boot diagnostic? I'll just show it in the live machine. So right now this is virtual machine stopped, right? And I'll go in down, scroll down. Here I can see the boot diagnostic, right? Here I can see that nothing but a serial screenshot. This is old screenshot on the Friday, which says that your virtual machine was running, right? If I start the virtual machine and it get stuck in a blue dump screen, how does I come to know? I'm just waiting. This virtual will be get started, right? And after started, it shows me that hey, running virtual machine is running. But in backend, it is stuck in a blue dump screen or might be update screen. Right now, it says the virtual machine is started. Right, in backend is it is got stuck in blue dump screen or update screen. How does I can see that? I'll go to my boot diagnostic and I'll refresh it. I can see the current status. So this is last updated. Let it virtual machine start. Yeah, it's already started. Then we'll have a current screen. We don't have it right now. Or we can simply see the serial logs. Right, this is the serial logs of your virtual machine. Hey, virtual machine is not yet started. All those details you can see on your boot diagnostic screen. And this is very good, helpful when you want to troubleshoot the virtual machine connectivity and virtual machine status. So let me see that. Let it refresh. Yeah, it got refreshed. Can you see that? On Saturday, this is the time UTC timing, and you can see that here virtual machine is running state. It's not in failed state, right? This is your boot diagnostic, right? For now, I have not connected to any storage. I use that option called Microsoft Manage, so it doesn't require to create a new storage account. If I go for custom manage, custom storage, it will create a new storage account for me where it will have all my data will be get dumped. In this option, Microsoft will manage on his storage account, right? So the better option, I feel that this is the one, but Microsoft that this is recommended. Why I'm saying the better option of this one, custom storage account, because if you see here, current what we have setting here is called Microsoft Manage, and I want to troubleshoot this machine. If I want to go serial console, it won't allow me to that. Might be Microsoft have fixed that, but few days back it doesn't allow me to have serial console. What is serial console? Serial console is nothing but okay, they have fixed that one. Serial code console is not serial console is just like your monitor. You are connected to your monitor, right? So I want this virtual machine is running, and due to some network issue inside, I am not able to connect this machine, or might be this machine get failed. RDP service is not working at all. So what I can simply do that I can connect without providing a IP. I can just connect like a monitor. Generally, connect to monitor and troubleshoot the stuff. We can do that one. So I'll just type CMD, then I'll say that CHI -SI 01. Right now here I have to type provide username password. I'm not providing IP. Domain, do you have a domain? No, I don't have any domain. Password. Right now after authenticating, I got my computer access CMD control. Right, I can have run the PowerShell also. Right? Now I'm in PowerShell. Right? So whatever command I am aware, I want to get it done. due to my non having network connectivity issue, I can run command over here. And the Linux, it's the same. So sometimes might be SSH service is not working. What I can simply do that I can simply go on serial console and I can do my troubleshooting stuff. Sure, sir. Definitely, I'll do that. All right. So this is virtual machine has been started. Let's see that detail. This is a Linux one. So any virtual machine you want to connect it, you should go to PuTTY for the via public IP or private IP, whatever you have IP. But sometimes that service is not working. SSH service is stop in or got killed in backend. This is SSH services, right? We saw here, which is working fine. But let's say assume the scenario SSH is not working at all, right? Or you have messed up with IPs, right? You want to fix that one. So simply go to serial console. Serial console doesn't require your IPs. You can simply provide username and password and you're logged into your virtual machine. Right, I'll just do that. Yeah, this log generally comes up the screenshot screen log. So system, right? Let's say that I'll just do the restart SSHD, right? I restarted my SSH service. Now it's working fine. I'll go and take a RDP. Sometimes firewall get enabled. You go and disable the firewall inside, right? So might be that current state is firewall D is running. Right. Sometimes firewall you haven't allowed on the firewall that hey SSH should be there, and it might be get enabled. For now it's stopped. If it's enabled, it's active. I won't able to take RDP at all, right? So I want to stop my firewall. So I have to go on serial console and fix that. Right, guys? So this is all about your diagnostic. So from the diagnostic, what you can do that from diagnostic, you can see the screenshot. What is the current status of your virtual machine? You can see the serial logs. And from that same diagnostic account, you can take a serial console, right? So for taking a serial console, you can see that, hey, this is diagnostic setting should be enabled. If I disable this diagnostic setting, I won't able to work with serial console. Boot diagnostic. This is called boot diagnostic, right? If you want to get enable guest diagnostic, you want to get more details on the guest operating system which is running. So you have to enable guest diagnostic. You can use the same storage account. That's not a problem. It's just like options. You want to get more details of virtual machine and want to create alert about your virtual machine memory and disk sizes. You want to collect more data apart from the hypervisor. You want to get inside data, right? So for you have to enable the guest diagnostic setting. All right. So let's disable it for now. I'll disable it for now. And after deploying virtual machine, you'll see that, hey, would diagnostic show me detail or not? So for now, I'll just keep it disabled. All right. So this is another option. We call it manage identity. So you don't want to use a username and password to log in virtual machine. We're generally using that as admin, right? I want to use Azure Active Directory, one of a service called manage identity. I want to use that for communicating my another service within Azure. So I can enable it. It will create a virtual machine as a user. This virtual machine will get created, which we are creating right now, will be act as a user for different services. We'll see in manage identity later on. So I can keep it enable or disable. For now, it doesn't matter to me, right? I'll see that manage identity later on. Then we who is creating virtual machine? Samit is creating virtual machine, right? Samit@outlook.in. But did you observe any point of time I use this ID to log in RDP, remote desktop, for whether it's Linux or Windows? No, right? I always created I always created a new credential, local administrator credential. But you want to use your Azure Active Directory login, so you can go with this option, right? Definitely, they require a proper rights, so you should go with that rights, and you can have option that now virtual machine will be enabled. You can use Azure AD to log in your virtual machine, right, guys? Any questions here in this option? Is it clear? Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Right. Now you want to shut down your virtual machine automatically in some particular time, might be in the night. So generally I keep it enabled. So when if I forget to shut down virtual machine, it will be get shut down in specific time. So this is a time zone, and this will be a time you want to get shut down. There is no auto start option over here. It's always auto shutdown, right? So if you don't want to get shut down, just untick it, right? You want to get shut down and get notified that your virtual machine getting stopped, right? Getting stopped. So it will send you email half an hour before. Let me, where is my? It will send you email, hey, we are shutting down this virtual machine in next 30 minutes. Do you want to extend the shutting down time, or you want to cancel that shutting down delay? So shut down, did I have it or I just deleted? Auto shutdown alert, right? So this is a virtual machine has been deployed. So it says the email alert, hey, this virtual machine will get shut down. This is coming because of I have enabled auto shutdown feature, right? So it says that, hey, this virtual machine will be get shut down in 30 minutes. Do you want to postpone for 1 hour? Do you want to postpone for 2 hours, or do you want to skip this machine to get shut down? You have to just click it, authenticate yourself. It will be skip your shutdown. It will postpone your shutdown. Make sense? Right? If you don't keep it on email notification, it automatically gets shut down. You will not able to skip that one. Right. So let's keep it this one. All right. So while deployment, you want to enable the backup feature. While deployment, you want to enable the disaster recovery features. You can enable by while deployment, right? You can use existing vault to do take a backup, or you can enable later on. So we haven't went through the topic backup and site recovery, so we'll not discuss. But this is option we can see here. While deployment, you can enable backup. While deployment, you can enable your site recovery replication for DR. So do you have option? Well, you should have those services should be enabled. That should be configured so you can merge this virtual machine, newly deployed virtual machine, that with existing services. Right. Another is option which we generally say that, hey, you want to get virtual machine patch automatically, and the patching will be taken care by the Microsoft. If you say that, hey, automatic virtual machine get patch for Windows update, you can choose this option. Or you want to say that, hey, I want to patch virtual machine on my own term. So you can simply go for manual patching, right? This is important, guys. What happened, what I have seen that people forget to change this option, right? This option, people forget to change the option, and some package will get patch, which is conflicting with the existing service. Or we don't want to, we haven't approved that patching, right? So that patching will also get patch. So just be careful when you deploying virtual machine.
Sorry, when in case if we say we want to patch,
Hmm.
or if we say Microsoft will patch, so it will patch as per the life cycle, the cycle which comes every Tuesday or every
Right.
month, that one.
Right.
But
Right.
mostly we don't use all the updates, right? We only go for critical security updates and all. So
Exactly.
Microsoft will do everything at one time, or it will only pick up those critical updates and patch the VM,
Microsoft will do all the updates.
all the updates.
All the
So
updates. Microsoft goes
what is
into the all of
recommended? Suppose most of the time my VM may have one production application which is very important
that's
for
true.
business.
So
Hmm.
that's even it's a production or development go for with manual patching because we
Okay.
want to maintain our patch cycles. We want to do the development as a patch first, then we want to go for UAT, then we want to go for production. This is three
Hmm.
cycles we generally do the patching, right? We
Hmm.
don't want to get patch production first, and if something's bad happened, then we haven't tested on the UAT.
And
So
mostly,
always
we
go
go for N minus one, like most of the
right,
companies.
right.
So
Most
they
of
will not
companies goes
like patch the latest one. They will always keep one behind, like, right?
right.
So manual
Absolutely.
can be a best option here.
Manual and every company have their own orchestration tool for patching. Some use
Yeah.
SSCM, some use WSUS, some use Avanti. So
Avanti.
they
Yeah.
yeah they have their own services to patch it. They don't prefer to patch with Azure, but
Now
Azure
you
also
said
have
now you said this third-party tools, na Avanti and
Avanti. Yeah.
SCCM. So in case if I have a entire my entire data center is on Azure, and in that situation, then I'll have if I want to run my Avanti, that was Shavlik, right? Shavlik, na? Before it was Shavlik, now it's
Shavlik.
Avanti.
It's
Yeah.
called Shavlik.
So
Yes.
let's say I have SCCM or I have Avanti or any other Pro tool to patch. So for that, how will I run in Azure? I'll have to have a separate VM where I'll install that application.
Yes.
I
So you
mean,
can have a virtual machine where you have
uh,
installed Avanti SSCM to
uh,
manage your virtual machine. Or
hmm,
if you don't want to spend a license cost on Avanti SSCM, you
hmm.
can use Azure management tool. Azure have their own management capacity. So if you go here, where is that? Right, where is that? Updates. So
Hmm.
here we can see that, hey, Microsoft help us to patch our operating system, and here we can decide which operating package we want to patch it. So we can do it centrally, right? Or we can do individual virtual machine.
Okay.
So here is
Now,
update tool is available.
okay. And in case if I have a hybrid environment and on my on-premises I have my
You can
Avanti or
connectivity,
then I can connect into it. One last
right?
question. Ever you have come across a situation where you patched a VM because maybe it was manually or auto whatever, and most of the time if something happens, some application it will crash, right, because of the
True.
patching. So is there any way in VM we can redo it, we can get it back, roll
Either
back?
you can if you have a backups, you're already taking a backups, you can roll back your virtual machine because most of our production machine we enable the backups. So
Okay.
you have a backup so every day, so you can go back to one minus a day,
Hmm.
and or might be yeah. That's what generally we do that.
And if there is no backup, then there is no way to get my VM roll back to that
No,
old state.
no,
Okay,
no.
got it.
So in this case, Microsoft doesn't provide any support if your VM crashes with the auto
It's
backup enabled.
Microsoft. Sorry, repeat your question, please.
If you have an auto,
Patch.
update, yeah, patch
Yes.
update enabled, and it's got updated, and for some reason, your application crashes or your VM crashes. So Microsoft doesn't provide any support on that.
Microsoft will provide support. Microsoft
Oh,
provide support. It's all depends on your support policy.
okay.
What support you have purchased.
Mm,
It's a developer support. It's a production support. It's a premium support.
mm,
Whatever support, Microsoft will give you support.
mm,
But Microsoft is not responsible
mm,
because you have selected auto patch. Microsoft have given you option, and you have selected auto patch.
mm,
Right? Microsoft is not responsible. You cannot uh, claim from the Microsoft, right? But Microsoft give you support. Hey, this is a production machine. Due to some, we have done some patches, and that got crashed. So Microsoft team member will support you to get fixed that machine.
In this one, there is no option over here that, okay, if even if you select this, say, patch orchestration option to automatic, so
Mhm.
before doing the patching, it takes a backup.
No, no,
Okay.
no. It is not such a kind of feature. We can say that, hey, before taking a patch, doing a patching, you should take a backup. No, there's
Mm.
nothing features like this.
Okay.
So Samir, what is you have worked on many projects. So exactly how does it goes in the
Most
business
most
environment?
most organization go with the manual option, and they have their own orchestration tool for patching. They
Yeah.
either you use SSCM or kind of third party Avanti or
Yeah,
Sapling.
because if you see Ivanti has a best option, but that may not work because usually in production environment today who are not on cloud, if they have VMware, all their virtual machines are VMware. So Ivanti will before patching they do a VM snapshot backup so
True.
that we can go back here. If I'm using that Ivanti tool to patch, so that feature will not be available or
That feature
because.
will not be available, but
Mhm.
that feature will not be available. But Avanti can do the backup. Avanti to do the patching. So
Patching, okay.
I have seen Avanti. Avanti has been configured
Mhm.
for taking a
Patching.
patching for
Hmm.
virtual machine on Azure
And the only way to secure your VMs is you have to have a backup. That's it.
backup.
The
Right.
Azure backup, which is that option is
Either
there.
you can have a backup, backup, or we have a snapshot option. If you have a
Okay.
disk, let's say that this is a virtual machine, right? We can
Uh,
take a snapshot, but that is another manual work. We don't want to go for it, right? This is a disk. I want to,
mm.
before doing a patching, I want to take a snapshot. I can take a snapshot, right? But that is a manual work.
Okay.
This is
So,
this
uh,
in case it's a critical machine. I'm not sure that this patch will work or not. So I'll take a snapshot of my virtual machine, right? I'll
so
take a
people do
snapshot of.
this. I mean, in production environment, people do this, like take snapshots and then go for the patching, or they
Yes,
don't have more backup.
no, no, they do this. In fact, whatever the major changes, even I have seen that people for just changing virtual machine size, they take a snapshot,
Snapshot, yeah. Okay.
right? So they just want to make sure that, hey, due to the small changes, my production should not be stopped. So I should take a snapshot. And once snapshot is ready, they
Hmm.
go for their activity and work done, they just delete the snapshot.
So snapshot topic we are going to take afterwards, right? It will come.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
complete
Okay.
storage topic.
Okay. Okay. What you can. Thanks.
Right. So this is
सर
all about. Yes, good.
सर मैंने डाटा क्रिएट किया और मेरा डाटा किसी वजह से लॉस हो गया तो वो डाटा रिटर्न चाहिए तो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट अजूर में चार्जेस लगेंगे क्या?
देखो, if you have some machine, right, and you keep it some data over here, right, and the virtual machine deleted, or by mistake you did shift delete button, and all the data will get deleted. So Microsoft is not responsible for that. Microsoft will not recover your data. You can ask Microsoft, hey Microsoft, I want to recover data. It will be possible. They will try some extent to recover data, but they will not guarantee you. First thing first. And secondly, that it's totally depend on customer and totally depend on what support you're taking from the Microsoft. So if you go on the Microsoft support planning option here, sorry. And if you go for help and support, Microsoft have various plan for support. Right? They have a basic support, they have a developer support, they have standard, they have premium, and they have a professional, they have a premium one. Premium they haven't listed here. Premium is will be uh, on a customer basis, right? And each planning will have per month charges basis. So this is $1,000 per month. This is $100 per month. This will be $29 per month. And what are the limitation? What are the things you can do with your support plan? You will get it here, right? Oh, okay. Now question is here that if my data is inside virtual machine that got deleted, Microsoft say that I am not responsible. First thing first. Microsoft say that, hey, this is IS module. You should take care your virtual machine. My responsibility till the hardware, right? But still, some point of time, Microsoft will help you to get back your data. If is it possible? If it is not possible, Microsoft will not give you support on that part. Make sense?
Okay, sir. Yes.
All right. Now here we can see the advanced option. And in advanced option, we see the extension. Let's understand what is extension, right? So I have virtual machine in Azure. This is Azure virtual machine, right? They are doing patching. When I say that patch automatically, right? They are doing patching. They are monitoring my they are giving me report. Hey, how much CPU you're using, right? They are monitoring, right? So they are taking a backup. They are taking a DR. It's there is some mechanism inside, right? There is some agent. Microsoft agent will be inside, who is orchestrating all the services. Who is orchestrating all the services, right? Definitely. But there is called WA agent. Microsoft Windows Azure agent. All virtual machine, all image, right? This is the image we generally saw that, right? When we go in image gallery, we saw all images. All image will have one service that's one software got installed that's called WA agent, Microsoft agent, right? That collects all the data and send it to Azure portal, right? That send the data and collect all the like monitoring or might be some what is the virtual machine status, all those details is collected. So Microsoft have one agent in image, which required to run on virtual machine on the Azure. All right. Now I want to install IS or I want to install, there is a service called Log Analytics. There's a service called Log Analytics. What this service do in Azure? It collects the logs, all the machine. There's 100 machine, 1,000 machine. It collects the logs and dump on his pool, right? His pool area, he's dumped all the logs for 1 year, 2 year, right? You want to whatever you enable it, it will keep the logs, right? So I want to get logs inside. How does I can get logs? This is a third service, third service, which is not a part of the Azure Virtual Machine, right? I want to get the logs. There should be some agent should be get installed, right? So same way we have a multiple other services like we have backup. Now backup have changed the method, but old way they used to have a same method, right? I want to take a backup, so there will be a vault, right? What how and the backup wants to collect all the data from inside and store on the vault, right? Do we have another service for ASR, right? Azure Site Recovery. What it do that? It will take data inside and replicate on my different region, right? Replicate on different region, right? There's more services, right? So there's a couple of services which Microsoft uses, right? And Microsoft wants to enable those services. So does it require to install all the agents all the times? Does we require to install all the agent all the times? No. This agent is sufficient. This agent is sufficient. But this agent is minimum agent. It doesn't have all the features enabled so far. This is minimum agent. What it do that is just collect the monitoring logs, right? It is just a minimum agent. small footprint. Microsoft doesn't want to provide you unnecessary unnecessary things if you don't require it, right? So it's a small footprint agent which just collect the monitoring logs. But I want to connect the log analytics. I want to do the backup. I want to do the ASR. I want to do more stuff, which is other third-party services or Microsoft provided third services, right? I want to get details. So what you can have it, you can have extensions. So on this agent, you can have extensions, right? So you will have some scripts, right? And that script, you write your codes, whatever you want to have it, right? And you will ask this agent to run that script. So this agent job will be just run that script. Whatever you want to get it run, that should be written on your script. That's called extension. What is that? Yeah. That's called extensions, right? Let me give example. I have virtual machine. Let me deploy this virtual machine. Yeah. So this is which virtual machine we are deploying right now. 19. Right? So I'll be deploying one virtual machine, right? And in the virtual machine, I want to get joint domain automatically, or might be I want to install a agent which says that hey, this is a Symantec agent, or might be some site 24/7 agent, right? I will not go and install all the time. I'll just say that hey, I want to join this virtual machine to Windows Active Windows AD. I'll just select that, right? Or then all the codes will be inside. I'll just select that. Hey, this will be extension I want to get applied. So now by applying this will be get enable himself for Windows Azure AD based join to Windows login. Or might be I want to get I want to see that. I want to get anti-malware from the Microsoft, or I want to get SSH service for Windows machine, or I want to have some desired state, or I want to have a team viewer. So those are the extensions. Right? I want to domain join. There should be the domain join.
So how many extensions can you select at any given time?
You can select number of extension. There's no restriction at all.
Okay.
Why this is not showing me? Right. So there's number of extension available. Generally, we provide extension through the code only, but AD join. Where's AD join? I want to show you that one. Anyways, so there is a multiple code you want to get applied, right? And this is a publish. Those code are published in extension gallery, right? There's a number of extension gallery already published. You just need to enable it. But some point of time, I feel that hey, the which I wanted to have it is not present in this gallery. So you can go for one of extension is called custom script extension. Custom script extension. Right? In the custom script extension, you can provide your own script. Your own script. Let's say that I want to install IIS. Right? After install deploying virtual machine, I want to get installed IIS. So I have to keep it this installation IIS code in some storage account, storage area, right? Where this extension call it, and from this extension will call it, and when virtual machine get deployed, it will install IIS with help of W agent, right? We'll do that right away, right? Not now. After deploying virtual machine, I'll just apply the extension, and I'll show you that, right? And this two option, I'll just go with your extension, or when we will perform extension. Another option is that, hey, when deploy virtual machine, I want to have some desired state, right? I want to have a virtual machine should be enable hardening, and I want to have this service should be disabled. This will be run once only. The custom data will be get runs only once when the virtual machine get provision. So that state, that's code, you can write it over here, right? So if you want to see that how the code will be formatted, so you will see that this is a format they preferred. Custom data. Yeah, this is what format they prefer in JSON format, right? Or it might be right in the CLI format, right? So you can use your custom data, or might be there is a service in the market. If you guys are aware, this is called Cloud Init. You can use Cloud Init to run that code inside. Hey, just enable the telemetry, those things stuff you can enable it, right? So, but in the market, people generally don't use this option. It's very rare, but people do use VM application and extension. This is heavily used. VM application, which is newly introduced by Microsoft, and extension. Extension is heavily used. So you should understand the extension, right? Now, if you coming over here, this is called host and reservation capacity and proximity placement. To understand this option, you need to understand the architect of the Azure. And we are pretty much aware. How this virtual machine works? We have bare metal, physical machine. In the physical machine, I deploy my virtual machine. So this is my physical machine. Some big size virtual machine, B series, D series, right? This is physical machine, right? Now it could be possible I randomly get allocated the bare metals. This is bare metal, I can randomly get allocated. I am sure, pretty much sure that, hey, I'll be having approximately, let's say that approximately I'll be having 100 virtual machine, right? And I want to make sure that all of my virtual machine should goes on one bare metal. All machine should goes on one bare metal. And those will be a same size virtual machine, right? So rather than paying for virtual machine, can I pay for the entire bare metal? Can I entire pay for bare metal? Yes, you can pay for entire bare metal. एक मिनट अच्छा guys. Right? You can pay for the bare metal. This is, we call it host, right? Azure bare metal. Azure dedicated host, right? So here I can say that, hey, Microsoft, let me purchase dedicated hardware for me, and I will deploy my all virtual machines on that hardware, right? So here I'll be go and select whatever I want to buy it, right? So let's say that, hey, I want to go for smaller one. Right? This is what I want to go for. This is a size series I want to. So where what I'll get it, you will get it 8 core CPU, 64 GB RAMs. That will going to run on this hardware, right? So this will be XXX cost will be there, right? There is some machines which is 96 core CPU, 600 GB RAM. That will cost you $5 per month, per hour, $5 per hour. And you can avail the course up to 96 cores. Whether you can go in single one go 96 cores, or you can go for two core, two core, two core, till that your 96 will get consumed. Make sense? Make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
right? So I can have a dedicated host here. So if I have purchased dedicated host, so I want this is virtual machine I'm deploying right now rather than getting deployed on Azure provided bare metal. I want to select my bare metal. So I will be having my bare metal where I can select that virtual machine. So let's go that Azure host.
So Sumit, for a bare metal,
Mhm.
how does the pricing work? It is per hour or it is monthly
It's a
or
per hour,
annually? Per hour. Okay.
per hour. Either it's a virtual machine or it's a virtual machine or it's an entire bare metal. It's always per hour.
Mm.
Right? So virtual machine will cost you approximately, let's say that 0.0 cents, some cents on the per hour. You are purchasing entire 96 core, so it will give you cost of that same cost. So what exactly means that? Let's say that this is I am purchasing, which is familiar one, B2MS. Can't see that one. All right. Anyways, let's say that I'll go for E series, right? This is having approximately 119 cores, right? So if I divide this per hour, I'll divide this per hour, divide by 119. If you observe that virtual machine will cost you same, almost same. There's no additional advantage. The virtual machine, if you go and deploy, that will going to cost per hour per core 0.05 cents. So let's say that you deploy 4 core machine. So it will cost you something $0.2 in this series. Whether you want to get built entire bare metal cost or you want to get built on each virtual machine base, it's up to you,
Mm.
right? But since you have purchased the bare metal, rented out entire bare metal, you will get charged on this amount, whether you deploy a virtual machine or not deploy a virtual machine. So we'll
So basically, the customers who don't want to have a shared hardware,
right.
they
So
would
they
be the
can
ones.
go for
Okay.
yeah. But you should make sure that hey, I'm going to consume entire hardware. Otherwise, I'm paying extra.
Mm.
Where is that hardware host? Host service. Yeah, host group. Yeah, here's a host. Right. So this is a host where you can purchase it. So before purchasing host, you have to create a host groups. So let's say that we should have a host group. So we'll create a host group for now. Just demo and keep it in none. So here you can see that I can buy entire family, right? And once I purchase a family, I can see in my listed subscription, hey, this is entire for host you have purchased and you keep it in that group. So you simply select that host group. It will automatically selected your host. Make sense? I cannot purchase as of now because it's too expensive and it won't allow me to create it. I just tried once, but it get failed because of my billing. Yeah, you cannot purchase it. Even if we just go for that. Right. This is what we generally see that hey, limitation on your core subscriptions. I cannot go on smaller one. Anyone is smaller. No. My subscription have a limitation. I cannot go more than 2 cores, 20 cores, but this family give me the 80 cores, so I cannot purchase this hardware. Right. So this is all about you wanted to go for dedicated host bare metal. So this is you can select it. Right. Second thing is that reserve capacity. What is reserve capacity? So this is a pretty interesting one. Let's say that I have virtual machine. I have this much virtual machine and all in production. So definitely I'm going to run 24/7 24 hours, 7 of a days, 24/7, right? So it will be costing me some per hour, some amount X per hour, right? I say that, hey, Microsoft, I am your permanent customer. I'm running such a huge virtual machines, right? A huge count of virtual. Can't you give me a discount? Microsoft said that yes, I'll give you a discount on my as per the enterprise agreement, right? We will give a 10% discount, 5% discount, 7% discount as per our enterprise agreement. Then you go back, hey, Microsoft, you know that I'm going to run this 100 virtual machine 24/7, right? So you know that, hey, whatever will be capacity, I'm going to consume it. So can't you give me more discount? Microsoft says that, okay, if you promise me you will run this 100 machine 24/7 for at least 1 year, I'll give you discount, more discount, 33% discount, 33% discount. This is a huge discount, right? So that's called reserve instance. That's called a reserve instance. If you say that, hey, Microsoft, I'll going to run this machines, 100 machine for 24/7 for 3 hours, 3 years, 3 years, right? So Microsoft said, okay, I don't need to worry on the 3 years. I'll be get minimum build, whatever I want to get built to running my data center. I'll recover my amount of hardware and all the my expenses, right? So I'll give you 49% discount, right? It will be huge discount offered by Microsoft if you reserve your capacity. So I'll be reserving my 100 virtual machine for 24/7. So Microsoft will say that, okay, we'll give you discount and the billing will be fixed. Let's fix the billing, right? So even you deleted virtual machine, this virtual machine get deleted, I'll be get cost because I have reserved this much capacity, 100 virtual machine. Even if I'm running 80 virtual machine, 80 machine, right? I'll be get charged for 100 virtual machine because I have reserved that. What about if I run 110 machines, right? 110 machine. My 100 virtual machine will be get discounted. 100 machine will be get discounted and 10 extra virtual machine be charged as a normal machine. Can I purchase another 10 slot? Yes, you can purchase another 10 slot. Right? So it is just giving a commitment to Microsoft. So Microsoft have a good planning for the future. Hey, this customer will be running 100 machine for 1 year or 3 years, so it will be good for capacity planning. I can go more sizes, right? I can attract more customers. This customer's got fixed. So here you can have a huge discount by Microsoft. So let's see that what will be discount. I'll go on Azure Calculator. Let's say that I want to have virtual machine in east to west, Windows virtual machine or Linux virtual machine. I'll just take a Linux because Linux doesn't require license, right? So we'll see that, hey, this will be Windows machine, Linux machine, Ubuntu, and I'm using this machine size, 8 core bus, right? So this will cost me 280 rupees, $280 per month. $280 per month, right? If I say that, hey, Microsoft, I want to get reserve this machine for 1 year, the cost of 280 become 165. It's approximately 41% discount. If I say that, hey, Microsoft, I want to get more discount, I want to reserve it for 3 years. So Microsoft give me discount approximately 62%, more than 50%, right? That's the same machine is if I deploy pay-as-go module, which I don't commit anything. So I'll be cost $280. But if I reserve myself, hey, I want to use this machine for reserve instance, so that will cost me $106. It's a huge discount. All right. What about the billing? Should I pay bill upfront? Yes, you can do upfront or you can do monthly basis. Both are the options available via the Microsoft, and there is no cost difference. So if you go for upfront, that will cost you $106. If you go upfront, sorry, if you go for upfront, you will get cost $3,000. If you go for monthly basis, that will cost you $106. Both will be same. So there will be just a commitment from you to Microsoft. All right. The question will arise, hey, what if I taken a upfront? Right? I'm a smart guy. I taken upfront, and I decided, hey, don't want to go for it. Can I get my return money returned back? No, you will not get your money returned back. It will be just credited for if you cancel your reservation on your account by deducting some penalties. What if I go for monthly basis then? I'll not I'm giving monthly basis and suddenly I'll be stop canceling my reservations, right? That's fine. Microsoft will give you some penalty and Microsoft will stop your reserve instance module. There will some small penalty will be there. Like you have committed for 3 years, so overall 3 years there will be 5% penalty will be there. If you committed for 1 year, there will be 5% penalty on 1 year. Make sense, guys?
So my question over here is, say for instance, you have taken a bare metal and you have reserved the number of instances that you're going to run on that bare metal.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
So now question. I understood your question. So now you say that hey, I have purchased the bare metal
Mhm.
and running washing machine on the bare metal. Can I reserve the washing machine on the bare metal, purchase bare metal? No. You have to, if you have purchased bare metal, you have to reserve entire bare metal.
okay.
So you have to reserve entire bare. Let me see that I have opened that page.
So the question over here is, say for instance, you have taken an entire bare metal
This is
and
example, right?
yeah. Now, say for instance, that particular bare metal has been discontinued within the say 3-year period that you have taken it for.
Mhm.
So it is Microsoft responsibility to provide new hardware and move all your VMs onto the new hardware.
All right. So once you get a bare metal, Microsoft will be make sure that the reserve time it will be have a life cycle. It will have a complete life cycle whatever you have reserved. So some places you will see that hey, this is not reservation is not available.
Mm.
Right? This is a so those machines that doesn't have the 3 years life cycle or 1 year life cycle. You cannot have the reserve instance over there, right? Because there's a type 2, type 1, which is already old machines.
Mm.
Old machines. So Microsoft have stopped giving reservation over there. Say that, hey, you want to take it for hourly basis, you can take it hourly basis because I'm soon going to scrap these machines because they don't have a life cycles. But you can have a life cycles for the type 3 and type 4. And if you observe that, hey, this is a V3, 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 this is all V3, right?
Mm.
ESV3. So this is Microsoft will commit only when they have a good life cycle. All right. Okay, now let's say that I am not going to run this is my production virtual machine, but I'm not going to run for 24/7. I'll be going to run for let's say that production hours, morning 8 to evening 8, 12 hours, right? So should I go for reserve instance? No. That scenario you should not go for reserve instance. Why? Because reserve instance is calculated 24/7. All 24 hours will be calculated. So let's say that if I go for let's say that I go for that, hey, in entire month, my washing machines which I'm going to use is let's say that 15 days, right? Half day, 8 hours, 12 hours I'm running from morning 8 to evening 8, which is 12 hours. For entire month, it become 15 days, half of the day. So it will cost me $138. Can I go reserve instance? No, I cannot go reserve instance. If I go for 1 hour, 1 year reserve instance, it will cost me more because it's will be 24/7 hours. But if I go for 3 years reserve instance, definitely it will be cheaper compared to that. And it allowed me more hours. It will allow me to have a stop and start option or it allow me to have a more hours, right? Now, so this is totally depend on how you want to use it. let's say that I want to use for 2 hours a day. So that will be approximately 60 hours a month. 60 hours a month. So that's a very less amount of I have doing the consumption, and but it's a daily happening. So I should not go for reserve instance. That time I'll just go for pay as you go. Make sense? So whenever you demonstrating your customer, hey, I want to show you that pricing of virtual machine, you should consider reserve instance option. Also, you should consider the hybrid options. What is hybrid options? So let's see that, hey, this is virtual machine. I'll just go for 1 month. Right? This is 1 month. It all of costing me $548 per month, which is a huge amount, right? I understand. But hey, you have a license, custom. I'll ask you, hey, do you have a license which I can take it to on Azure? Yes, I have a Windows license, plenty of Windows license available. Oh, let's go for hybrid option. The option get, virtual machine get, reduce the cost. All the license cost was deducted. Now, but I have to give up my KMS servers, licensing server, right? Okay, I'll ask my customer, do you going to run this machine for 3 years or 2 years? Do you have a commitment 24/7? He says, I have a commitment of 3 years. So this machines become 106. The cost of virtual machine earlier, I saw that, hey, $880. What was that? Yeah, $850, $550 approximately become $100. Why? Because I avail the features like hybrid license. I don't take a license, right, from the Microsoft. I already have a license. I reserve my virtual machine, right? So this is you should consider ask the customer whenever they want to deploy virtual machine. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is all about reserve instance. If you have reserve instance capacity, you already purchased reserve instance capacity. You will list what are the bare metal, what are the sizes you have reserved. You will list, you will see the packages here. So if you want to reserve the virtual machine, simply go for reservations. Right? I need to click add art, and I'll say that, hey, I want to reserve virtual machines. Right? Which size, which family, how many sizes I want to reserve it. Okay, I need to enable on my subscription. Definitely, I need to enable on my subscription. I can choose a term 1 year, 3 year, 5 years. So I can reserve it. Same way, I have a different more services which I can reserve it. Right? I can reserve this. I can reserve storage account. I can reserve my host. Where is my host? Yeah, here's a dedicated host. Right? So I can reserve my different services, and I can get huge discount from the Microsoft. All right, proximity placement group. Right. So what is exactly proximity placement group? You have purchased number of hardwares from the Microsoft, right? And that hardware you want to keep it a little bit far. Some just like you want to do you generally you keep it, hey, this is a hardware should be in the same group, this hardware should be another group. You created multiple groups, right? And you want to allow your virtual machine to get closer or far from in the same region. You can make the proximity placement group. So you can have a dedicated hardware, and the hardware should be nearby or far from each other. You can decide over there, right? This is called proximity placement group. Any questions on this page? We'll see in details of extension and VM applications. Any questions on this page here? No? Perfect. Now tags. So tags is the topic will get covered in governance, but still I'll just want to say that, hey, just like your virtual machine, a physical laptop, the laptop have a tags. What is tags, guys? Do you know? Everyone knows that?
It's a way of identifying.
Exactly. So way of identifying who owns that laptop. So generally you see the tags in your, if you get a laptop from your company, right? So you get some kind of tag applied. Hey, which department this laptop belongs, or which team you belongs, or which is a serial number of your tags, right? So this is kind of a tags generally you see behind your laptop. And same way on a server, generally if you go on data center, they have some labels, they have some tagging, right? Printed tagging. This is a washing machine. This is a physical machine called this host name. This is of a physical machine having this much washing machine inside it. This is for the this team department. This is the owner, right? This is kind of, so someone visit the data center if they say that something's bad happening on that hardware, they can immediately contact that person. Hey, this is your hardware. I saw that. This is a hardware name which is beeping up or heating up, right? So just go and check your hardware. So it is easy to identify your resource, right? So same way in Azure, you can find out tags everywhere. So I'll say that, hey, this is my owner. This machines will be owned by Samit, right? What is cost center department? The department will be cloud engineering, right? I'll say that what is cost center, right? The cost center code will be 11, 22, 33. This is a cost center code, right? All right. Email. In case contact details, rather than what is contact, right? Contact details. Right. In case emergency, I want to get contact. So let's contact on Samit @ outlook.in. Right. So this is what tag I have given. Now when I'll deploy a virtual machine, they will have tag applied. Right. If I want to know if I have 1,000 of virtual machine or 10,000 virtual machine, I want to find out, hey, this virtual machine belongs to which department, which is the call center, who is the important, this machine owns by who owns this machine. I can see by having a tag, right? First thing first, you will have a right naming convention. By having a right naming convention, definitely you can understand what is virtual machine all about, AD or might be DNS, right? But who is the owner as of now for AD? Okay, Samit will be owner. How does I come to know? That we'll come to know from the tags. Make sense, guys?
Yes.
Any question? Yeah. Any questions here? All right.
No,
Let's
sir.
deploy. Thank you, Pooja.
समित भाई जो WA एजेंट है वो
Mhm.
जनरलाइजेशन के लिए काम आता है ना लिनक्स मशीन के?
Yes. There is a multiple use of W agent in the Linux machine. Not only generalizing, because हमारे Windows में we have sysprep option. Windows machine में Linux में sysprep करके option नहीं आता है. एक tool आता है, generalizing tool आता है, लेकिन public generally नहीं install करती है. तो W agent will be do the same stuff, right? Same way W agent हमारा Linux के अंदर swap memory को increase करने में भी काम आता है. तो W agent बहुत मल्टीपल रोल प्ले करता है इन Azure वर्चुअल मशीन.
तो बेसिकली वो लिनक्स मशीन के लिए ही होता है कि ये वर्चुअल मशीन की सर्विसेज भी मैनेज वही करता है?
नहीं समझा, क्वेश्चन वापस पूछिए. क्वेश्चन
मतलब
वापस
WA
पूछिए फौरन.
है ये लिनक्स VM की सर्विसेज मैनेज करता है या वर्चुअल मशीन का ऑप्शन मैनेज करता है? ये जैसा VM एजेंट जैसा काम करता है या अलग है?
W agent and VM agent is the same one. It's the same one. It's a different name in the Linux and different name in Windows. I'll just come. Just a minute. Can you just give me 1 minute? I'll just go in detail in W agent, and we'll discuss on that part. Right. Just looking for the code. All right. Let me refresh this virtual machine. Now this virtual machine is ready. Right. What we have selected tags. Can you see the tags over here? Owner, Summit, department, cost center, contact details, all those tags we can see here. We can add more tags based on what we have requirements. So Microsoft given the complete detail what are the tags should be there. Virtual machine agent is not ready status. Why this is not ready? Let me refresh. It should be ready in a few minutes. Right, it's ready. Now, if you see here in a monitoring section, you see that hey, CPU utilization, memory utilization, all those bar you see that. How does it's coming from? It's coming from two places. One is that there is a bare metal, right? Bare metal is running hypervisor, right? Hypervisor. And if it's using more CPU power, so this hypervisor knows that, hey, it's using more CPU power, right? It's using full power of CPU power. So it can track it. So this is one place we get a CPU and RAM and what do you call it, network details, right? Another is that you will have agent inside it that will track your all CPU utilization, memory utilization, all the metric, right? And it will represent you. So if you want to see inside, you should have some detail inside, right? Some agent should be inside. So what is agent is there inside? So if you go on property on the front page itself, you see that, hey, there is a agent status, which is say that running. What is agent version? So that's a 2.7 point. This is a agent. So let's see that what is agent all about. Oh, I forgot. I didn't create a public IP. How should I take it this virtual machine? I can take it from private IP. Can I take it? Come on, guys. Can I take
No,
it
no.
this access? Who's saying no? Farhan or might be someone who. Can I take this access machine?
Yes.
Pooja, Samir. Okay, Samir say yes.
No, no, no.
Who else? Okay, we have a differences, right? Some people says that no, some people says that yes, right? Guys, let's understand. This is a private IP, right? Which means this will be Azure network, virtual network, VNet, which we have decided for virtual network 10.0.0.0/24, right? Inside, we have created one subnet that's called default. Name is default, right? And the subnet range will be 10.0.0.0/25. Assume that, right? And inside, I have deployed one virtual machine, ultimately NIC card, and the virtual machine I can represent over here. So I say that this virtual machine have IP called 10.0.0.5, right? Is this IP? Yes. All right. This is one series they are using. We are using. So let's say that will rectify it to avoid confusion. Right. I'll be using that 10.1.0.0/16 what I have used here, and here I've used here /24. Right? So this is what I have deployed. When I say that this network is isolated network, which cannot talk to any other virtual network, कोई भी इससे रेंज होने दो, which cannot talk to other. How it can talk to my laptop? How it can talk to my laptop? Will it be able to talk? No. Even it's communicating with other network, I cannot communicate. The reason, my laptop is in my home. I'm in my home network. Right? Or I can simply say that I am in my home private network. Right? So my all the communication will be happen within my network. If I have my mobile, I can communicate with my mobile. If I have another laptop, I can communicate with my another laptop. But this Azure is somewhere else, different private network, two different network at all. Even IP range is matched, doesn't matter. This is two different network. So two different private network. This is one private network. This is another private network. This is another private network. Two private network cannot talk each other. क्योंकि ये इसका घर है. This is his home and this is his home. Right? So how you can talk each other from one home to another home? You cannot talk. मैं घर में मेरे डैड से बात कर सकता हूँ, मेरे मॉम से बात कर सकता हूँ, मैं ब्रदर सिस्टर से बात कर सकता हूँ. And this guy can talk to his father, his mother, his brother and sister. But we cannot talk. We are sitting at our home. We cannot talk. So talking to each other, we require some connectivity. Either it will be telephone connectivity. So I can call him. So telephone connectivity, I having a wire connectivity between my house to this house, right? So this one will be called as a VPN in our IT technology, right? So we have a wired connectivity. So this will allow me to communicate from my laptop to this machine via VPN. And this is one way. If you want to connect to the telephone or you want to connect to VPN, but I haven't configured VPN. Right? There's a multiple ways to do configure VPN. We'll see later on. But I haven't configured VPN. My laptop is on my private network. This is a private network. So we saw that hey, earlier we can connect it, right? Right? How does we connect it? So we use a internet as a connecting tool, right? I go on internet, which is like you went into your society, right? And this guy also went on internet. This guy also came on society, and we are communicating over there, right? So what example here I can take it up? Hey, this guy have a public IP, right? He came out from his private network to public network. If he have a public IP, right? And my laptop will have a public IP when I came out from my Wi-Fi router. My Wi-Fi router is here, right? And when I go out, I will have a public IP here, right? Which means that I came in my public network, right? Since I came in my public network, guy is in a public network, we can communicate each other, right? Now, our case, we have two cases. Come on, where is that? We have two cases. First case, what happened? Yeah. First case, we have two virtual machines, right? This one and this one. It have a public IP, which means that from their private network, they came out on a public network, right? So I take this public IP, I copy this public IP and use some tool. Tool is just a method to communicating, right? I just use a tool. Right? And when I try to communicate with this tool, I'm using my IP. What is my IP? This is my public IP, your public IP. What it says that your public IP. So I'm going to communicate this machine, well, this machine CentOS 7 with this my public IP and communicating to this public IP. My public IP will communicate to this public IP, which is attached to CentOS 7, right? Then only I can take a remote desktop, right? Here I can take a remote desktop or remote service, remote terminal. Since it's Linux, so we can say the remote terminal, right? I am connected to this IP, which is this one, right? If I say the W, it will show me that I'm coming from where. Can you see that? It's the same IP? Yeah, it's the same IP, 68, 70, 78, right? If I see on my private IP, guys, bear with me. Those are the experienced guys. This is really important for freshers. Right? If I look for my private IP is this one, 0.8. It says that coming from this IP. No, I'm not coming from my private IP. I'm coming from my public IP. How does I got public IP? When my laptop goes to Wi-Fi and came out from the Wi-Fi. Came out from the Wi-Fi. This is my Wi-Fi. So I got a public IP. Right? How does it happen? Let's not go on right now. Right? It got public IP, and this is already having public IP. So I'll connecting through public IP. If I try same machine, CentOS 7 with private IPs, will it going to work? Definitely not, because it's in his private network and I'm in my private network. I cannot talk with a private IP to private IP unless I have a wire connectivity between Azure data center and my home. That is impossible, right? So we required a virtual connectivity. That is called virtual private network, VPN, virtual private network, right? So I'll do the virtual private network. Right, guys? Got it? समझ में आया आप लोग को? Who is saying yes, we can connect it? No, we cannot connect with private IP with a private network with another private network. You should have some other connectivity tool. All right. Some might be say that, hey, Samit, I have seen that in my office or in office, or might be some people from working from home. They are connecting Azure. They are connecting some remote location private IP with their laptop. Yes, just go there in their laptop, and here in a small size, you will see that they are dialing some Cisco Connect or some other services, which is nothing but a VPN connectivity. They have installed Auto Connect of Cisco VPN service. So most of the company, when they give a laptop, they use a VPN devices pre-installed. So you directly connect to your office, and from the office you can go anywhere. Whether it's Office data center or Azure data center, they have interconnectivity. Right, guys? Is it clear? Is this diagram clear, guys?
Yes.
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 Right? You cannot communicate with your private IP with another private IP. You have to go on public IP. So we have one machine here which doesn't have a public IP. We doesn't have a public IP on this machine, which we are trying to connect. Remote desktop. So what should we do now? So
Just one small question can ask.
yes. Yeah, sure.
Actually, this public IP address is accessible, right? But sometimes client restrict the public IP, and we need to whitelist our public IP at their end. So such restriction come over here. How we can restrict over here?
Okay, so this is a public IP, or you or what I understood that your question, Kawaljeet, that can we restrict source incoming traffic, right?
Yes, correct.
1.0.4, and this will have a public IP, right? Assume that this public IP is this one, right? This is a public IP we have over here. So I can take from my laptop this machine as a remote desktop. From this machine, can I take this RDP? What do you think, guys? Can I take RDP?
Yes.
Right. So this
We can.
server we generally call it jump server. This is what I want to show you, that this is a term we generally use, a jump server. So when you go in Azure and you see, or any cloud technology or any other data centers, you saw that, hey, take a jump server. So what exactly they means that they have one virtual machine which is make it available for publicly, right? People goes on these servers and take remote desktop to other servers, not necessarily this server or other server, right? This is called a jump server, right? Now, I don't have a public IP here, but I want to apply public IP. This is what we want to see. That's why we intentionally didn't keep a public IP. So how does we applying the public IP? So I'll be creating a public IP as a service first, right? I'll create a public IP. Right? I'll create a public IP, right? I need to look for region, which region they are and which subscription they are, right? So this is in Visual Studio subscription, right? And this is an East to West region. I'll create one public IP, right? I can choose either I want to go for IPv6 or IPv4. I have a two option, or I want to go for both. The cost will be difference, right? So it says that if you go for both, their two IP will be get created for you. For now, I'll just go for IPv4, which you generally take the IPv4, right? Here is the two option, SKU, store keeping units, which means that nothing but a sizing and pricing, right? So I'll say that, hey, I want to go for basic. Basic will be have very less cost. The standard will have a more SLA, but little bit extra cost, right? So I'll go for the basic first. In the basic, I can see that, hey, I have option dynamic assignment, static assignment. If I choose static assignment, I will have IP upfront without attaching anyone. So I'll just create one static IP right now. So I'll say that this is what I'll keep it here. Right? I'll keep it here. I'll just give a name for my public IP, static demo. Right? This time I'm taking example of static, so I'll keep it a name called static demo. Right? So without, come on. Meanwhile, I'll just create one more IP, which is a dynamic one. I'll go for basic again and say that dynamic demo. Right? Now let me refresh. So this is static one. Do you see that I got IP? Whether I attach virtual machine or not virtual machine, I got IP. And this IP will be always with me unless I delete this service. This IP I have reserved from Microsoft. I have taken from Microsoft. I'm giving a what we call it, a rent on this IP, right? Even I don't use it. I didn't attach to any virtual machine. So let's see that this is a virtual machine. We want to attach it. How does we can attach it? I can simply click on associate. associated to which type of services? I say that network interface. Hey, why it's not showing the virtual machine? Because what I said earlier, all the IP will be belongs to NIC card, not to virtual machine. Oh, what about public IP? Yes, public IP will be also belongs to network card. Now I have to select that which network card I need to attach it. I say that I am confused. Which network card? I don't understand. Absolutely fine. What you can simply do that, you remember that virtual machine public IP name, go to your virtual machine, go to your networking, go to your network card. You can see name over here. All right. I can click on network card. I can see more details here, but I'll go in IP config. Right? Click on public IP, which is right now no public IP. Click on public IP. Click on associate. Select that public IP. Right? And save. Once you click on save button, come out. You will see that, hey, you receive a public IP on this NIC card. And since this NIC card is associated to whom? This virtual machine. So you will see a public IP. As of now, no public IP. Refresh it, you see a public IP. Right? Even you shut down this virtual machine. Right? I'll just shut down this virtual machine. At CentOS, I'm shutting down. Refresh, we'll should see the public IP. Right? Even I shut down this virtual machine, deallocate this virtual machine. This IP is always with me. The same IP is always with me. Even I shut down this virtual machine. Right? So which means that I'm holding IP. So it will cost me. Right? Virtual machine has been shut down and deallocated, but still I'm holding IP. So it will keep costing me 24/7 of this virtual machine for this IP, right? But I don't want to get cost on that machine IP, right? So what I can simply do that I can remove this kind of IP, which is a static IP. Before that, I want to show the public dynamic IP, right? And what about my dynamic IP has been created? Yeah. This is static only. Oh, I didn't create it, but submitted the. Okay, I didn't submitted public IP for dynamic. Let me submit. Dynamic. I'll say that name called dynamic -demo, and I'll keep it in. I do remember that I submitted, but still, let's see that. All right. Okay, I just click on validating. And I just came out before get validated. So this time I'm creating a dynamic public IP, right? And meanwhile, I'll just remove the public IP from this network card. How does I can remove it? Go to IP configuration. This is static demo which I have applied. Deassociate. Right now, public IP has been removed. Refresh. You don't have a public IP here. All right. I believe that dynamic public has been created. Let's refresh that page. Yeah. Do you see the IP here? The resource has been created, but there is no IP. So why there's no IP? Because I have not associate with any service. So let me associate. which is I'm associated with this virtual machine. All right, on associate quickly. So I'll just refresh it here. I got public IP, and here also once it's already associated. Once you associate it, you will see the public IP here. Yeah, do you see that public IP got also public? It received the public IP. One catch: since you have applied dynamic public IP, if I shut down virtual machine, right? This IP will this. Let me copy this public IP first. I copy it on Notepad. This was a public IP which we have copied just now, right? Since it's a dynamic kind of public IP, I have shut down virtual machine. Deallocating. Do you see that IP is released? IP is released. Even is associated with my virtual machine. This IP is released. Even still associated with my network card, right? This is associated to network card, still associated, but doesn't have any IP. Why? Because virtual machine is stop state, deallocated state, right? So IP has been released. What if I start machine back? Do I get it same IP?
No, you will not get the same IP.
I'll not get the same IP. That is a pool of IP might be get allocated to someone else. Or it could be possible I can get it, but there's less chance. Take it up that IP page is here. I messed up with right. Do you see that it is having a different IP, right? So it keep changing. When you keep it a dynamic IP, it will keep changing. Whenever you release the virtual machine, it will release the IP also. So be cautious, be careful when we creating a dynamic IP. So it can help you to save the cost, but it will release your IP. So how does we can fix that? It's really difficult to remember all that IP whenever I get change IP. It's really difficult to remember the IP, right? So we can go in configuration and we can set up a DNS name. So I'll say that this is Samit test VM. This is the name which I have decided, right? And I'll save it. Now, when I have this will be a name of my virtual machine. Now, rather than using IP, I'll be using my DNS name. This will be my DNS name. So taking a remote desktop, I'll be using this name rather than IP. And whenever I have a new IP, it will automatically associate with new IPs. Let's say that I'll stop machine and start it back, right? I release the IP, I got new IP. But since I have created a DNS name on public IP service, it will always associate with this new IP, right?
Yeah,
So rather,
but Samir, over here, the issue is that whenever you need minimum 24 hours to 48 hours something for the DNS names to be propagated
no, not
globally.
required, not required. Ideally, this is what generally is a practice, but uh, it's get propagated within a week. Oh, sorry, within a minutes. It's to get propagated within a.
Because this is what we have noticed. I mean, when we were working on an on-premise environment, whenever we are, associating, doing any natting to or any, any new services that we are deploying, and we do our DNS record for it globally, within the country, yes, immediately you will be able to connect. But globally, if you're coming from another region or another country, it takes time.
So right now we have deployed in East US, right?
Mm.
Let's see that can we take it right now or not. So MSTSC, where is that? Yeah. So rather than taking IP, I'll just take it with this name. You see that? It's pretty much faster. So I believe that I understand that when we do the DNS change, that's literally take a time, but it is, they have designed such a way that, hey, they are not publishing in the public environment. This what they have published what they have published cloudapp.azure.net on the public environment. This is already propagated across the globe, right?
Okay.
And they are using internal DNS, private DNS, so that get reflected quickly. And they are doing natting over there.
Okay.
Hi, Samit. Kavijit here. Also,
Yeah,
also in some scenarios, we have found out that while accessing through URL, the DNS is not getting resolved in some service providers internet, right?
And
So
that's true. That could be possible.
So at that time, we used to do host entries, and then we would what to say, connect that through that URL.
Right.
So,
That could be possible. That some ISP doesn't resolve this DNS, right? So what should we do now? So workaround is where we have a ETC host where we can add entry, right?
Yep.
But you can have a custom DNS also. So it doesn't get resolved cloud app.azure. Or I feel that, hey, this is so weird. This is my virtual machines having so much big name, and why I'm following that Microsoft name. I want to have this Summit test VM. This is fine for me, right? But I want to have let's say that prolab.com. Right? I want to have this my custom domain name. Why should I show to my customer that I am on a cloud? By seeing azure.com, he can see understand that I am deployed on a cloud. I want to show you that I'm deployed on my data center, right? Right. So what I can do is simply here we can have a custom DNS. So we have to create alias, right? Then we have a service called DNS service. So we have to create a one DNS zone. Then we have to create Prolabs, and then we give a name, and we'll have a DNS, and that will take time to a little bit to propagate. Right, just once, but IP, whatever be IP will be there in backend. Once IP will get changed, it won't take to propagate. So we can see that here there's a TTL in minutes. You want to, whatever you want to keep it for expiry, all the details you can find out here. Is it your question, Kavaljit?
Yes.
So we can rather than using on Microsoft this cloudapp.azure.com, we can use Prolab or whatever you have a company. Right? So you can create your own alias, DNS alias, for attaching to your public IP.
So I have a question here now. Say, for instance, in the static range of IPs, if I want to have a reserve, say, 6 IPs, 7 IPs for me.
True. Right.
So can I club it all together and request for that many IPs?
Right, you can do that. So as of now, this IPs which I'm receiving, I cannot predict this IP. Right, Farhan? I
Yes.
cannot predict this IP, what Microsoft is giving. I want to predict, I have some application there, I want to whitelist a range of IPs. So in case future, whatever IP I'll get it, I will be, I don't require to go and do the changes. So for that, you will not use public IP, you will use public IP prefix, right? And the prefix, you will allocating yourselves a range of IPs.
Okay.
Right? So I'll just say that a demo prefix, demo public prefix. Right? Here I can say that, hey, do you want to go for IPv4, IPv6? I'll say that, hey, I want to go for, let's say that IO. Another region, I'll check it because one region I already exhausted my quota. This is, I have a trial subscription, that's why I'm exhausting my quota, but absolutely fine for other region. /28, it's a huge amount, 16 IP is a huge amount, which I doesn't allow me to more than 10 IPs in one region. This is my quota limit. So I can go for /29. Now next IP will I'll get it.
Samit, is this a dynamic NAT concept?
No. We are just purchasing
Okay.
8 IPs from Microsoft.
Okay.
Rather than purchasing one by one, we are purchasing 8 IPs, and all 8 IPs will be in a series. So I can whitelist to my team, hey, this is IP on my devices. I want to whitelist that. Let's say the Okta service, right? So I want to whitelist the Okta range of IP /28. So this is what I can do that. Other guys, if you don't understand, we have a networking topics where we can discuss all this about in details. But since the topic is there, so I'll just covering up. I'll just giving touch base. Right? You can see that this is IP range. I got it.
Why we use public IP prefix instead of
Sorry?
public IP addresses?
No.
Can you please repeat why we use public IP prefix?
All right. So let me take up this topic. Hey, this is a virtual machine I'm deploying in my VNet. Right? And after deploying virtual machine in VNet, I have some public IP. I have selected some, but this public IP, I cannot select. Hey, Microsoft, give me that 202, 203, 204, that IP I want to have it. Microsoft said, no, I cannot give it to you. It might be allocated someone else, or I have a random selection to give you public IP. Right? So I randomly give you from some public IP. If I deploy another virtual machine, that not necessary will be following the same series. That give you some other random public IP. Right? I know that if I take it for static, it will always with me. But thing is that there is some third party tool, a third service I want to connect. So every time I deploy this virtual machine and I get a new public IP, right? I need to go on that service and say that, hey, allow this public IP, allow this public IP, allow this public IP. Is there any mechanism which says that, hey, Microsoft has given me this IP range 202.305 to 25.23.8. अब यहाँ से लेके 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? So those IP I want to get reserved for myself, and I'll say that here, hey, this IP range 22.23.8/29, which means approximately 8 IPs will be there. Next to 8, 9, 10, 11, till that 15, I will have IPs, right? From here, it will be ये सब IP को whitelist कर लो till the 15 because I have 8 IPs. Right? So those IP range will be get whitelisted. Right? So now next time I'm deploying new virtual machine, a virtual machine should get IPs from this pool itself. ये pool में से ही IP मिलना चाहिए. So I don't require to whitelist in my service. Make sense, Farhan? Furkan? Right? अभी हमने क्या बनाया? This is what I have created pool, and in the pool I will have a 8 IPs. Right? From starting from this IP range, and till the next IP. So what will be next IP will be I have 9, What will be the next IP? I'll have 10. So on. कहाँ तक रहेगा मेरा? Till the 15. 8 IP बोला ना मैंने. I have selected 8 IPs. So this will be total. Yeah, this will be total 15, 16. I don't know. That will be 17, right? नहीं, कितना रहेगा? हाँ, till be 15, right? This will be till 15, 8 IPs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this will be till 15. Till 15, it will be the IP range. But I haven't allocated to anyone. Abhi virtual machine. What I'll do that, I'll be selected series. This is a series I will reserve for myself. Right? Ab Microsoft will charge me for 8 IPs. Whether I'm going to use it or not use it, अब मैं IP use करूँ ना करूँ, I'll be get charged on this IPs. Right? Now I want to create a virtual machine in Australia region. Right? And after creating virtual machine, I want to allocate a public IP. So what I'll do that, I'll just create public IP first. I say that, hey, this is Aussie VM01, right? And I'll just create a new IP. What will be IP? This will be a first IP. Will I get it? I can predict? Yes, I can predict. Now, after creating this virtual machine, I'll be allocating to my virtual machine, this public IP allocated to virtual machine. It doesn't require to whitelist new IPs. Got it, Furkan?
Yeah,
Yes, bhai.
that's fine. Now I have a follow-up question, a second question. Say, for instance, I have my organization already has invested in public IPs, and I have a range of public IPs. I want to bring those public IPs over here.
Yes, it won't possible from the till the last 2 months before.
Hmm.
Last 2 months before it was not possible. I have read article. Bring your own IPs. I haven't tested out. Bring your own IPs in Azure. I have read article. Bring your own IPs in Azure. It is in the March itself. They have introduced article. I haven't tried that. How
Yeah,
it works?
I saw one option in prefix. Can you go to that option there?
Okay,
No,
I
in
didn't
the
try.
portal.
Can we create a prefix? Can we do that? I didn't saw that.
See
Yeah,
over here,
yes,
custom. Yeah, I
yeah.
saw something there. Hmm.
So I didn't try that. How this prefix size? Try it out. No, custom I prefix not listing here. So how we can get it? Let's say that I'll just keep it in east west and demo. So then we need to look for service custom IP prefix. Let's see that. And then I'll go for the same IP range. Let's say that 30 or randomly I'll select it. Okay, signing message. This is, I don't know what is that. I think this is, we should get it from some signing message from the, which is your purchase.
Yeah, because otherwise anybody can put anybody's public IP
Yeah,
range over
that's true.
here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. This will be from our provider. We'll give a signing
Mm.
message. Then we'll have it done and we can take it on Azure. So I have not used this one. This is the first time I'm creating right now in front of you.
Mm.
And it's recently introduced by Microsoft in March
Okay.
itself. It was not there. It's about to come, and it was introduced on some location it's earlier, and last 2 months back it's become a GA, generally available for all the people.
Mm.
So bring your IP is there. All right, good. Okay, now coming back to your public IP, which we are talking about. Hi, I have a virtual machine. I have taken RDP. Right? I have taken RDP. I have taken RDP with this name, and then behind this name, I have a dynamic IP. I have a dynamic IP which is attached to this virtual machine. When I shut down this virtual machine, this IP will get changed. Since I am following the DNS name, whatever IP will get changed, it will automatically get mapped. Right? Now it's clear. Anyone have a doubt over here? On the IP side, public IP, private IP. So let's go once again on the IP. We have selected IP prefix, right? Now, after creating a prefix, we have created one IP. So I'll see that, hey, what are the IP have created? AZ, Aussie 0, Aussie VM01. This IP will be available in my IP pool. I'll just go here and IP addresses. If I see that, can you see this IP? Now I can associate to some Australian region virtual machine. And this is virtual machine IP. Now, if I create a new public IP, so I'll go on my IP pool, request over there, hey, I want to use my another IP. So this I'll say that is Aussie VM02. Right now, this IP will be definitely next IP. That will be I can predict 1070.41.9. I can predict now. How I can predict now? Because I have purchased entire pool, 8 IP pool I have purchased from Microsoft. Right. So if I don't deploy, I have deployed only two IPs. What about the rest of 6 IP? Will I get cost on that? Yes, I'll be get cost on that. Whether I deployed or don't deployed, I'll be get cost on that because I'm reserving IP from the Microsoft, right? I'm reserving these IPs. I'll be get cost on that. Hopefully get redeployed. Yep. Now, if I click on this, I can see that this should be 09. Can you see that? 09. Make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right, just a minute. Right? Okay. And in public IP, what else we saw that, hey, there is one more type of public IP which we saw that, hey, there is a we talk about only basic, then there is a standard. All right, what in a standard? Standard will always with my static IP. Standard have a SLA, more SLA, and it's always a static IP. You never get a dynamic IP on that, right? But here is a two option get enabled. If I just click on basic, is this option get gray out? This option is become available tier 1. So there's a regional tier, there's a global tier. What's the difference between? So in case your virtual machine is your region got crash. So this public IP will be have a cross region availability, which is not available so far. Like in case any disaster situation came, so same public IP you can carry out on the pair region. Right? This is what option we have here. Now there is a routing preference. You can take a Microsoft routers to reach out this public IP, or you can take an internet routers to reach out this public IPs. So you can take your own ISP, other ISP, or you can take a Microsoft routers to reach it out. How it's work in backend, I'm not completely aware. This is how the backend technology works, because I believe that from my laptop, I'm coming out to Microsoft routing preference, it should go to my ISP. But Microsoft says that, hey, this will not take your entire complete route of internet connectivity. It will take Microsoft routes. I don't know how it works in backend. Right? So this will say this is question which I asked to one of our Microsoft representative. He says that, hey, I understand that this is you will go to your ISP, and from there you will go to another ISP and the higher loops on that. But we have deployed lot of place our devices, like we have a lot of colos were the co-locations, right? We have a tie-up with so many data centers like NetMagic, ControlS or CFI, where we deployed our routers for connectivity. So that will prefer to take that routes rather than taking a public routes. This is what he explained me.
In this tier option that you said regional and global. So when you select global, that means if any disaster happens at your region and it gets shifted to another region, the services. So in this case, you will select the global option, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Now we are aware about DNS label. We just now saw that we on a virtual machine, we use a DNS label. This is what you can map. And if you want to go for custom DNS label, you can use later on after deployment. You can map with your custom DNS, right? Now there is a DNS timeout, ideal timeout. This is a session timeout. When you have a sessions packets, so you want to have a session timeouts, HTTPS connections. So you want to keep alive some messages or sessions. So this is the timeout session. You can keep it ideally timeout for 4 minutes, or you can make it up to 30 minutes. Right? This is generally useful when you have some kind of a transaction, like you are purchasing some product from the Flipkart, right? And you when you click on buy now, it will redirect to your page to your merchant, might be some bank, SBI bank, right? And till the time SBI responds and check it out your balance account, deduct your balance account, and give back token to your seller, Flipkart.com, it takes a little bit time, right? Till that, what time it should be have a session alive, that's determined by that ideal timeout. Right? If you keep it more time, okay, I understand that Indian banking, SBI takes more than 5 minutes. I can keep it at 10 minutes, right? If it's a Standard Chartered bank, I know that it works very fast, so I can keep it 4 minutes. I just give you example. So this is what ideal timeout for your session.
So what is the best practice to follow over here?
It depends on your application, what you're installing inside. So people preferred people prefer the timeout uh, if they don't want to have a sticky sessions, they preferred less timeout. If they want to have sticky sessions, they will prefer more timeout. So it's depend on what you're installing inside. Right. Let me give example. Another example. Let's say that I have a load balancer. Right. This public IP can be attached to load balancer. Yes. Now, if I am sending a traffic to multiple virtual machine, and all the virtual machine will going to one user is trying to access that page. I want to distribute a workload, so I'll keep it less amount. Right, I want to keep it. Don't want to stick that sessions always. Users should go over there. All the users should go over. So I want to keep it rotate that machine. All workload should be get distributed. So I'll keep it a less amount. If I want to keep it, hey, sticky session, one user once logged in, they finish all the job in same machines. So I'll keep it a higher session. It's totally depend on your application.
Yeah, because generally what happens is in payment, I have seen this. I mean that especially in the load balancer scenario, that the user makes a payment and a session is established. Okay, and when the response comes back from the payment gateway, it goes to another server.
Yeah.
So
yes, it could be possible. It's
yeah,
it totally depends on application engineering. There is a you wanted to bind with IP, or you don't want to bind with IP. You want to bind with a session. or might be your behind a database which is responding. They are taking a sessions request, right? So they are Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, now we can.
Yes, now we can.
Audio is coming from my laptop. It's not coming. Just a
I can, yeah, I think this is the right one. Perfect. Right. So it's a totally depend on the application engineering. It's a how you design it. Sometimes people what they do that they keep it a session ID in the database. The rather than binding with IPs, they keep it a session ID with the database. So whoever carrying the database ID, that whether is a virtual machine one, virtual machine two, or it get so suddenly it virtual machine get crashed, it doesn't matter. They have maintained the session ID with the database. So it's all depends on the engineering. All right. So this is all about public IP. We can have a public IP on virtual machine. Okay. All right. Before going, the next topic which I want to take it is extensions. Right. I have installed virtual machine. This is virtual machine I have. Right. Do you see that? Is it IS got installed over here, or I just go here and hence I disable. I type localhost. Do you see in this machine? Does I installed IS? Localhost. Does I installed IS? No. Right? It will look for, or might be I'll just take it this page and put it on browser. It won't respond because there is no IS installed in this machine. Right? There is no IS has been installed in this machine. Right? There is, so this page won't respond. Right? So we will going to install IS internet and a sample website with help of extension. With help of extension. So I'll show you extension. We'll discuss on extension, but I think we should take a break of 5 minutes. Will it fine? Or you want to continue, guys?
Let's take a break.
Yeah, I think that's we continue to having sessions. So I'll just take a 5 minutes break. A 5 minutes break, bio break will be sufficient. Or if you want to take it 10 minutes, I can keep it 10 minutes.
Let's keep 10 minutes.
Yeah. What about others? Only Farhan is generally respond.
Please, can we have a break for 10 minutes?
Yeah. Thank you. I expecting that all you guys can interact with me. That will be really good. Okay. Let's see. Let's meet on 12:45. Hey guys, I'm back. Can we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. All right. So yeah, we're talking about extensions. So you want to use extension, right? What is extension? It is nothing but a small add-on on the our agent. So all virtual machine have a by default agent inside operating system, right? We have agents, Azure agents, right? And this agent help me to work various functionality on Azure, whether it's patching, whether it's monitoring, right? I want to, and they have a minimum footprint. It is a minimum footprint. What we have decided, it do only whatever we want to decide it, we can give it through the instructions. We can give it through instructions. So let's see that. So for now, this is operating system, right? I don't have any IS inside. If I try to access it, I don't see that. So even if I go on networking and allow the port 80, inbound port 80, all the traffic from anywhere, port 80, add the traffic, just like I do allow RDP, but here is port any is already allowed. Any things is allowed. It should work. But anyways, I just explicitly allowed port 80, right? It's already any is all traffic is allowed. And but I explicitly allowed explicitly allowed port 80. But still, if you just look for, it is not there. IS is not there, right? So what I'll do that I'll be adding my one of extension is called custom extensions. Right. So let's understand custom extension. What is custom extension and what is extension all about? All right. So then here I'm setting up extensions, Azure extension, resource group, then extension name. I can put it any extension name, which virtual machine, which location. This is the general information about extension. Okay, who have published this extension? Microsoft have published extension. What is the type of extension? This is custom script extension. All right, and what do you want to apply on that? So here is my inline command. This is my inline command which I want to run it. So what is inline command? I want to run it, right? Execute PowerShell, which is PowerShell is window add Windows feature. This is the command add Windows feature is a command to add any service on Windows. So if you just look for add Windows feature, so if you want to add any role in Windows operating system, Windows Server. So you can use add Windows install Windows feature, and you can define that. Hey, you want to have a web server, you want to have a DNS server, you want to have Active Directory server. You can have various services installed, just like you generally do that like this. Generally, you do add roles, right? Is that add roles? Yeah. Add roles. You select that add roles. So just like the same, we can do with your add Windows features, right? What kind of Windows features you want to add it? Web server, right? This is one command I want to run. Another command, what I want to run it, hey, whatever the path, generally this is a default path. Generally, this is default path of IIS. Go there and set the computer name as a default page. Set the computer name as a default page. So this is a default page, and I'm setting a value over there called computer name, whatever computer name. I can change it anything over here rather than computer name. I can just say that, hey, this is some text I want to set it up. I can do that one also. All right. So as of now, there is no IS installed, no IS services installed, right? And I want to run the IS service. So let me collect all the details of virtual machine. This is virtual machine. Name is called VM01. I'll go on my Excel file, change the virtual machine name from demo 01 to VM01. Which resource group I keep it? This resource group I kept it. So I'll just change it to resource group. Where is resource group here? Right. Now what is extension name? So I can keep it IS demo, whatever I feel that. Right. So this is what I have done. Now I will run all the commands. Okay, region. It is in ES2S2. Yes, it's in ES2S2. So this is a representation format. We don't give a space. We just keep it in single word. Right? ES2S. This is ES2S. I selected. I select all the copy the code. And before applying, I'll go in extension part. Can you see that? This one, extension, this one. I click on extension. So far, there is no extension. None of extension is there. What I'll do that I'll go in PowerShell. I can run from my laptop, but I want to use the Azure PowerShell. Right? It's authenticating my users. Which user has been authenticated? This user has been authenticated. I want to see that which subscription I have selected. This virtual machine is in my which subscription, guys? This virtual machine is in my Visual Studio subscription. Right. So I want to see that which subscription I'm right now. How does I can select that? Get hyphen AZ context. This is what we have seen earlier also. It will show me that, hey, you are selected with other subscription. Oh, I need to change my subscription to run that command. If I run this command right now, this is lagging. If I run this command right now, what will happen? It won't find my virtual machine. Is it audio having disturbance or it's a complete in flow audio?
It's good by no disturbance.
Okay, perfect. So if I run this machine, it says that, hey, I don't find you Renews RG. Why it didn't find out? Because I'm selected this subscription, right? And this resource group is present. I just look where resource group. Right? Renews RG resource group, which I'm mentioning, is in different subscription. Come on. Right? In a different subscription. I need to change my subscription. So what I'll do that? First of all, I want to find out what is the subscription available. So I'll type it get-az subscription. Whatever subscription I have, I can list it over here. So I can see that, hey, I have a 2 subscription. I'll just select this subscription ID, copy it. And last time what command I have ran, get-az context, it shows me the current subscription. Now I'll just change this command to set, from get to set. So I'm setting the subscription. Now which subscription to set it up? I'll say that, hey, subscription ID. I can use a subscription name also, but I preferred ID. ID is pretty much faster, right? I copy and paste my same ID, which is the subscription to, and I'll type it enter. It's changing the subscription. Now subscription has been changed. What is now my subscription? Whatever command I'm going to run it here, that will show me that this subscription details. So let me see that again. Yeah, this is Visual Studio subscription. Now I'll go and copy this code and paste it. Now it is going to accept my extensions, right? What kind of extension I'm going to apply? Custom script extension. What I want to do with this custom script extension, I want to run this code. What is the run code? Add Windows feature web service, right? And I want to set the page. If I go on virtual machine, let me refresh. If I go on virtual machine and extension tab, earlier I have shown we did saw there was nothing, but right now we are installing one extension, that is custom script extension, right? I'm not logging to virtual machine at all, right? It is in transition phase. Let it run. When it's get completed over here, this is also it will be successful. Right, it's still in transition phase. So executing the specific commands, कुछ command है जो run कर रहे हैं हम लोग. We are running the specific commands. Still in transaction. All right, I think it might be there. So now what I'll do that I have this one, right, which was not showing a page. Let me refresh it. Can I see the IS page? Yes. The first command has been ran, right? I can see the IS page. Did I install IS inside? No. How does it got IS? Because I ran the command called, I ran the script, and the script is the command is called add Windows feature, right? I didn't log into virtual machine. From outside the virtual machine, I am running this command. I'll refresh it. The next command read. What is next command says that set the virtual machine host. Next command it says that set the computer name as a default page. So it has been set. Can you see that, guys? Did I log into virtual machine? No. Did I went next? No. So what I have applied? I have applied a extension, right? Same way you can run any command from the extensions. So let's say that, hey, I want to run another extensions. Let's go for custom extension again. I want to apply a custom extension again, right? I don't want to run the PowerShell. Okay, that's fine. Don't run the PowerShell, right? Don't run the PowerShell. Keep it in some storage account. I keep it in some storage account. All the script will be in some storage account, and I'll select that storage account. If I want to pass any arguments, I can pass arguments. So I can bring the file over from there and I apply that, right? Let's say that this is extension. Let's say that, hey, I have this virtual machine. I some administrator was there who is managing that virtual machine, right? Who is that virtual machine, and he ran away, right? Nobody knows that what is inside virtual machine, and this is crucial machine. So what is the username of that? I don't know. That administrator absconded. It's not no more. Oh, what should I do now? Oh, I have to one option. What I can do that I can go on serial console, right? Oh, serial console is not enabled. Why I cannot see the serial console? Let me see the virtual machine status. Oh, I don't see the virtual machine status. Why? So while deployment this virtual machine, what we have selected, we selected, hey, diagnostic account, none. So I can enable diagnostic account now. I say that, hey, okay, let me enable diagnostic account. Let the Microsoft manage diagnostic account. This is what option we keep it disabled. Now we keep it enabled. Once you enable it, it has been enabled. Now refresh. In a few minutes, you will see that virtual machine details, right? or in a few minutes you will able to do the serial console command, which we already saw that. But it's a pain area. I need to go on serial console, connect it. Can't we have simple idea, which is requires some, I have to be some little bit expert to find out users, right? ch-si01, right? I have to be a little bit expert. Now here itself, it's asking the user and password. I don't know what is user and password. What should I do now? Even I'm going to serial console, it says that a serial user and password. I don't have user and password. It's not allowing me to go inside through the serial console. So user administrator have the absconded, is not no more there. I don't know what is running in this virtual machine, could be crucial data. I cannot see inside from the serial console. If I go on boot diagnostic, I can only see that, hey, this is a virtual machine, the running state. What should I do now? So I can go on reset password, right? This is a reset password. So I can create a new user. Let's say that's Samir-admin. This is what I am creating a new user. Samir-admin and keeping some password. This is a new user. I am creating a local administrator. This will be a local administrator. Right. So how does, when I say that update, how does it get applied and send the instruction inside? Hey, you need to create a new user called Samir-admin and there will be some password, right? How does it going to send it? Again, it will going to apply extension inside. So as of now, I have only one extension, which is IS1. Now you will see that Microsoft using vastly this extension service to achieve his work, right? Can you see that? Enable VM access. This extension is now applying. Right now, in this is in transaction phase. Let me disconnect this machine. Right. So this is in transaction phase. Let it set the reset the password. Now it has been applied successfully. This is what extension name is VM enable access. Why we use it to reset the password in user. So now I'll go for that. Take a public IP. Take a remote desktop. Or might be I can take this DNS name, doesn't matter. And I'll say that, hey, Samir-admin and the password which I newly reset. Right now I can log into this virtual machine. How does this command get ran inside? So there will be some agent inside, right? What's the agent name? The agent, which is this agent that's having 2.7 version. And what is the agent? Where I can see that agent? Let's see that now. So I'll go, you can see that IS has been installed, perfectly fine. Earlier it was not there. Now I'll go for the services.msc where I can see all the services. And here I can look for Windows Azure agent. Windows Azure guest agent. Can you see that? This agent is helping me to run those commands inside, right? This is a minimum footprint, but I am adding additional footprint here. So this is additional footprint I'm adding here. This is two additional. Same way I have a lot of things with the guest extensions. So let's say that I want to go do deep dive networking. Deep dive networking, I want to go for it. So I have to enable what we call it, diagnostic agent, diagnostic setting, right? So I'll just say that, hey, this is a storage account, I want to use it, but this will also allow, this will also enable one more agent. I want to have extra insights, more detailed virtual machine details. That's also enable one more extensions. inside my virtual machine. I want to have a log analytics. Log analytics, I need to enable it. I need to enable one more extension. So Microsoft is totally dependent on extensions, right? If this service due to XYZ reason got stopped, my extension also got stopped working, right? Some extension are the one-time running execution like IS we have installed. So once we have installed instruction, that's fine. We don't require more extensions, right? Even the agent gets stopped, absolutely fine for me. Doesn't make my production workload any effective. It doesn't affect on my production workload, right? But might be log analytics, replications, right? Or a VM Insight. Those are the checking recurring the details, right? So those will get impacted. Right, let me start agent. Okay, okay, I just, right. So just for your information, where the agent I can found, where the extension I can found. So you'll go to C drive of your virtual machine, right? Here we can see in Windows Azure, there is agent details, which we saw that 2.7.2. This is agent details, right? And all the DLLs, everything will be there inside. So whatever you have installed, you can see in configs, whatever extension you have installed, you can see in the configs, right? This is what you can find out. Or sub footprint you can find out in your plugins, what you have plugged, right? Sub footprint you can find out in the plugin. VM access, custom script extension. So I'll go into custom script extension. I have done 1.10, what I have run the handler. So those all the things which I have done, I can find out here, right? And what I have command executed, I can see it here. So what I've done. One of a package, you can see that what you have ran. Okay, here we cannot see that. So here you can see the details, what you have done and what command you have ran. All those details, you can see it here. Not it's representing, but it's in JSON format. I just saw once while exploring that where it stored the details, what I have ran. I think it's in JSON file something where extension config. Okay, I need to look on that part. So this is your monitoring agent in general, which send all the details to your machines. Right, guys? Do you understood what is extension all about? कोई doubt है extension में? So extension is nothing but extension is nothing but additional instructions you want to give a agent which is running inside, right? So you are wanted to have password reset, you want to have a custom script. In the custom script, you can write your own codes, or you want to use some other extension which is published in the market, like CI/CD pipeline, watchdog agent. You want to enable it. So when you go for enable it, it says that, hey, what is the API keys, which watchdog you want to connect it, and it will connect your SaaS service. So they have their own extension, either it's published over here, or you can use Microsoft provided extensions. So usually we widely use for Microsoft provided extensions, which is list of Azure. Right. So we can see the list of extensions. So you can see that there is a lot of extensions available. Some on preview, some on the GA general available. Right. There's a huge list of the extension available for machines. Right. So Microsoft is totally dependent on extensions for other various works. Make sense, guys? Any questions here on the extensions? How does we apply it? what happened with extensions. And if we see that, hey, extension is not available. So let's say that, did we close our washing machine? Yeah, we close our washing machine. If I disable the extension, what will happen? Or if I disable the agent, what will happen? I'll just show you. I'll just go for services. Sorry. Windows, I'll just stop it for a moment. Right. Once I stopped, in few minutes, it will stop sending heartbeats, all updates to my Azure portal. Right. It will stop sending in Azure portal, few minutes. So let's refresh the page. As of now, it shows the washing machine status is ready. In few minutes, you will say that unavailable or unknown. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes. They have a heartbeat timer. So in a few minutes, you will see that this will be unavailable, and all extension you just now saw here, that will be unavailable also. This is also unavailable. Say that field status unavailable, the status will be different. Now I want to take it one more topic, which is VM applications. So I'll not take right now. We can take it tomorrow because it's I need to explain that automation stuff. So I will take it tomorrow. Apart from that virtual machine, we have covered all the topics. So we are good with virtual machine. Guys, revise your virtual machine. So anything in doubt, please ping in the group. Right. So we are good with this page. I believe that.
Whatever extensions we're doing using PowerShell to automate the process, are the same extension used when we go for Terraform and all those things to automate, or
Yes.
Terraform has?
Yes. So extension is not necessary. We are I just applying extension from the PowerShell. You can apply the same extension from the portal. You can same apply the extension from Terraform. You can same apply the extension from ARM template. So that's what we generally use the extension. What happened that when we deploy PowerShell infrastructure code from we deploying from the code Terraform or ARM template, right? We don't want to do manually attend the virtual machine. So that's what we return the code over there. That hey, after employing virtual machine, apply these extensions also. So it automatically get joined the domain example. Domain
and
joining
this is what DevOps is, right?
Right, right. So after deploying virtual machine, it will automatically join the domain. I have written a entire code that here written that the code is just like a template where I just pass the value. Hey, virtual machine will be this, region will be this, resource group will be this, subscription will be this. I'll pass this value and run the code. All the code is already written. So it will run the code, deploy the virtual machine, add the extension, domain join, apply the log analytics, apply all the stuff will be get it done.
So basically, the person who knows Azure 104 Azure admin very well, if he just do a lot of practice on these things, he can easily do DevOps work.
Yep, I can say that a little bit effort required to understand the ARM template. So the first step is understand the Azure infrastructure. If you don't know that what is extension, if someone have written in the code that hey, I'm applying extension, you will not able to understand what is extension at all. So understand the Azure portal in detail, understand all the concept, what Azure says that in AZ104, then you can take it architecture profile or you can take it DevOps profile. All right, let's see that. Any questions, guys, here in all those topics which we have covered so far? Anything you feel that, hey, Samit, I didn't understand. Application is pending, which I'll take it a little bit later. Or if you want to take it cloud init, I can take it cloud init also. But believe me, guys, cloud init nobody takes deploy. I'll just show you the sample code of cloud init. Here. Right. So this is just example. This is just example. Hey, I want to have the website should be get enabled and Nginx should be installed. So when I install Linux server, I want to get install Nginx. And the website page should be like, hey, this is a website page demo page should be get enabled, right? So those are cloud init code. Cloud init it's itself a service. It's not from the Microsoft. Cloud init is not to Microsoft. If you just look for cloud init, it's a third party tool which Microsoft tried to integrate it. I don't know why Microsoft have decided cloud init. There's a lot of like Ansible is there. Terraform is there. Mostly Ansible should be there because Ansible is widely used rather than cloud init. Or Salt Stack is there, right? So there is a cloud init which have some codes, have some kind of language which is work when post deployment is required. So I can show you that sample code of cloud init. Right. This is sample code. You simply see that resolve.com. It's just like a maintaining states when we have virtual machine deployed. Okay. All right. Let's see that agent got disabled or not. We have disabled agent. All right. Let's see that. Still it's enabled. It should be get disabled. I just want to show you those something, guys, that when agent is not available, right? Agent is disabled, all your extension become unavailable, right? So sometimes people see that, hey, virtual machine, all the extension, my replication stopped, and I go on virtual machine and see that, hey, extension itself is unavailable. What could be happen? So the first thing first you need to check it out. Agent is running or not. That agent should be running. So you have to log in virtual machine and check out the agent. It should be running. Let me disable it. I don't know why this is stopped. The even stop, it's not reflecting. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see that. I'll just keep running like this. Virtual machine might be some. I'm not aware that what is the time frame for next check. Okay, let it run. We'll see later on. Any question, guys, on this part? Virtual machine deployment? None. Right? We'll walk through that all those details, which is the common services like activity log, access control. Those will be common for all multiple services. So we'll not take it right now. We'll take it later on. Couple of topics like a bastion, backup, disaster recovery, that will comes in later topics. which is related to backup. So backup will come up, disaster recovery will come up along with that. Passion will come with the networking, right? Updates, inventory, that will comes with your governance topic, right? So I'll just take it out. Okay, this is the last one. I think I have demonstrated this one. If you want to run some script inside without logging virtual machine, you can run the script. So that IS installed, you have ran it, right? That IS installed, where is that I installed? The simple command, PowerShell command, same command you can run it here also. Same command you can run it here, right? Same command you can run it here, right? It will again apply some extension inside your virtual machine, right? And give you output over here. So let's say that I can run simple script which is called ipconfig all. And it will take time, too much time to get the data because it's going through the extensions. And I'm not sure it will give output because we have disabled the agent inside. Yeah, you can see that. Can you see that? Agent is not responsive over here. If I go on O, it's here, it shows that ready, but it should not be ready here, unknown. Can you see that? This agent we have disabled. Agent is not ready, versions are unavailable. And if you go on extension, it says that, hey, all the status is unavailable. Why? My replication got stopped. My logins got stopped. My monitoring got stopped. Why? Because agent was stopped inside. Who is the main person? Who is the main person who's sending, running those scripts? Make sense? Any question, guys? Come on, guys. Yes, no, tired, end the lecture. All right. If no question, we can end today's session. I think that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll start with storage account. Some of our topic of storage account related to disk we already covered, but we'll have a more deep dive on storage account. Right. One deployment. Did I walk through that virtual machine deployment through the PowerShell or ARM template? Did I walk through that PowerShell deployment? सब चले गए क्या? Hello guys.
All are there.
That gets up.
I don't think we did this.
All right, I'll do it today. It's the same thing what we have deployed from the portal. We'll do it one by one through the PowerShell command. So you will get familiar with PowerShell. Do remind me, guys, regarding this. I need to walk through that. All right, guys. Take care. Have a nice day, and see you tomorrow, same time.
Thanks, Amit.
Have
Thank
fun.
you.
Welcome.